At the graduation banquet, the admission letter of my childhood friend was personally opened by the high-ranking official invited by his father. However, none of them knew that when he filled out his college application, the little princess they all doted on had changed it to a third-rate college. In my past life, after the college entrance exam results came out, I went with my childhood friend and 2 other buddies to an internet cafe to fill out our applications. They came over, surrounded by that little princess. While they were in the restroom, she changed their applications. I saw it and sternly scolded her, saying their scores were good enough for Tsinghua or Peking University, and that applications weren't a joke to be messed with. When the group returned, she tearfully complained, saying it wasn't yet the deadline and they could still change it, that she was just joking with them, but because of my harshness, she claimed I broke her heart, and when she ran out, she got hit by a car and broke her leg. While going abroad for treatment, the plane crashed, and her age was forever frozen at 20. My childhood friend and the other 2 blamed me. When we all stood at the peak together, they pushed me off the building. The 3 of them said coldly, "It's all because of you that Xiaoya had that accident. You deserve to die." Xiaoya was just joking. Even if she had filled our applications with a third-rate college, we'd still be willing to go. If we could do it over, we wouldn't go to the same university as you. We don't want any of these honors. We only want her. My childhood friend's smile twisted. "Remember the car accident the day your parents came to see you? I arranged that." When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day of filling out the applications, watching them head to the restroom. I tightened my grip on the mouse. I had actually been reborn. Reborn on the day Wang Yaya changed their applications, remembering how in my past life, we all went to Peking University together, developed the smartest robots, made a fortune, and became national-level researchers. I never thought they would hate me for a lifetime over Wang Yaya. No wonder they always isolated me as a group. They always opposed me in innovation. I thought it was because I wasn't good enough, but they had never been able to forget Wang Yaya, and for Wang Yaya, Xia Mingzhi even killed my parents. I clenched my fists, recalling the helpless pain of falling from that height, and I hated them to the core. So, in this life, I won't meddle anymore. For the revenge of my parents and myself, when I find the chance, I won't let them off. I was wearing headphones, sitting about 3 meters away from their seats. There were 4 seats in a row, and we 4 should have sat together, but Wang Yaya insisted on squeezing in between them, next to my childhood friend Xia Mingzhi, so they cheerfully kicked me out. "Ningyu, you're just filling out your application anyway. Once you're done, you can play your Candy Crush. We're going to play PUBG, so it's easier to communicate together." Xia Mingzhi also nodded. "You play different games from us, so sitting together or not doesn't matter." Wang Yaya hooked her arm around Xia Mingzhi's shoulder. "Don't be so petty, genius girl. We're all brothers. Sitting together to play games is normal." The others looked impatient. "You're so annoying, always clinging to us." Xia Mingzhi frowned at me. "Ningyu, we already agreed to go to the same school as you, so stop making a scene." Wang Yaya looked at me smugly, and I had no choice but to sit here. Since I'm reborn, who would be stupid enough to walk the same path again? I looked at the application deadline. 8 hours left. You can change your application before the deadline, but once it passes, it's locked. I solemnly chose my favorite school and major from my past life, double-checked, and submitted. Even though there were still 8 hours and 3 more chances to edit, this wasn't something to mess around with. I didn't even glance at Wang Yaya's side, to keep them from going to the same school as me. She had filled their applications with a school in her hometown. Whether she was joking or not, I didn't know. All I knew was that it had nothing to do with me. Since I was reborn, I had no interest in gaming anymore. I just stared blankly at the computer screen. In my past life, I liked Xia Mingzhi. We grew up together. He was a top student, an athlete, and with his father being a civil servant, he excelled in every way, so our families joked about arranging a childhood marriage, but it was just talk. Everything depended on how things developed later in that life. After he met Wang Yaya, he became cold toward me, stopped going to the library with me, and only played games with Zhao Liang and Chen Yu, along with Wang Yaya. This caused the 3 of them to drop over 30 spots in the mock exams. After the teacher talked to them, they finally buckled down for the college entrance exam. Once the exams were over, they started hanging out with Wang Yaya every day again. The matter of filling out college applications was delayed until this very last day. I thought that as long as I went to Peking University, we could study together again and fulfill our childhood dreams. I didn't expect that I was the only one who remembered. I don't think this was just youthful rebellion. After all, when they killed me, we were all 30 years old. My family urged me to marry Xia Mingzhi, But he kept refusing and wouldn't let me date anyone else. Only before I died did I find out. He said, Yaya didn't even live to 30 to enjoy happiness, and you, a murderer, deserve this. We worked on research together, but they always overlooked my contributions, even deleting my name from the credits several times. I never realized it was because of Wang Yaya's death that they hated me. Every year on the anniversary of Wang Yaya's death, they would go drinking, getting completely wasted, mourning their lost pure love. I propped my head up, listening to the song, Have You Had Enough, through my earphones, and felt like laughing. I saw them come out of the bathroom, chatting and laughing, then hurry over to Wang Yaya as soon as they spotted her. Zhao Liang asked with a grin, Yaya, why did you close the page for filling out our applications? Wang Yaya opened PUBG, her tone excited. I already filled them all out for you guys, let's not waste time, let's start. Eating chicken, a hint of affection flashed in Xia Mingzhi's eyes. How did you know which schools we chose? Wang Yaya handed him a Coke, her tone carrying a hint of sulkiness. In our chicken-eating squad, you three have said it so many times, Peking University, Peking University. There's only one Peking University in this country, how could I mess it up? Chin Yu chuckled, Yaya really cares about us. Remembered after just one mention, Wang Yaya looked at Xia Mingzhi and edged closer to him. The person I care about most is, of course, brother Xia Mingzhi. Xia Mingzhi watched her big eyes with purple eye makeup tilt upward, her purple cropped vest accentuating her great figure, and as she leaned toward him, he could vaguely see the cleavage at her chest, with a cross necklace falling right into it. A strange look flashed in his eyes, wishing he could become her necklace. Wang Yaya giggled, the scent of her perfume wafting into his nostrils. She hooked her arm around his head, her tone seductive, hurry up and log in, no eating chicken today, no ending the stream. Xia Mingzhi's heart stirred, and Wang Yaya went over to Zhao Liang, opening PUBG for him. Zhao Liang looked at her tight little vest, feeling the same way as Xia Mingzhi. The three of them couldn't remember anything else and immediately started the game. I looked in their direction, shut down my computer, and logged off. Before leaving, I went to the internet cafe owner, slipped him 100 yuan, and used my phone to record the video of her changing their application choices. Better safe than sorry, to prevent her from later turning the tables and blaming me for the changes. The playback only lasts 7 days, and I wouldn't be able to prove my innocence. Given how shameless these four are, I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. 2. I didn't bother saying goodbye to them either and went straight home. Seeing my parents waiting for me at home, my eyes turned slightly red. I had let them down, because when they came to visit me, I had Xia Mingzhi pick them up. That day there was an important press conference, and I was the one who knew the core technology best, so I couldn't miss it. I never expected that on their way from the airport, the brakes failed, and they died on the spot. Xia Mingzhi was also injured. His act of playing the martyr cost my parents their lives. His so-called concussion made me give even more of myself to him, even willing to gift him my patent. He held me then and said, Xiao Yu, you still have me. Thinking about it now, it's just ridiculous. I walked into the house, hugged my mom who was knitting a sweater. Mom, I missed you so much. Mom put down the crochet hook, poked my head, and said affectionately, You've only been out for an hour, you're usually not this clingy. I can miss Mom even in an hour. I smiled and leaned on her shoulder. Don't you miss Dad? Dad, who had just finished cleaning the kitchen, came out carrying a plate of cut watermelon. I miss him, I miss him. I smiled at both of them. I've decided to use my saved scholarship to invite you both to travel with me to Guizhou. Please pack your things, we leave tomorrow. My parents looked at me in surprise, because they knew I had saved that scholarship for 7 years, and I was actually willing to spend it. I smiled at them. Hurry, hurry, go pack. My dad rubbed his hands together. It's true, our family hasn't gone on a trip together in a long time. I hugged my mom. Yeah, it's summer break, and both principals have time. Please give your student this chance. The two of them, one was the principal of an elementary school, the other of a middle school, so since I was little, I've always loved studying. I couldn't let the students' parents say, Look, even the principal's daughter has bad grades, can this school really be trusted? So, to keep their enrollment from taking a hit, my grades were always at the top. Alright, Mom packed up her stuff, then let's go have some fun. While they were getting their things together, I booked the tickets and hotel. Isn't the point of being reborn to make up for regrets? And my regret, my family. In my past life, I spent every summer break trying to please Xia Mingzhi and his two buddies, following their orders to take care of Wang Yaya, even using my scholarship to pay for her treatment. They said it was all my fault, the three of them nagging me every day. That 18-year-old me was so naive and kind, actually believing it was my fault. My parents were kind too. When they heard about Wang Yaya's family situation, they found the best doctors to treat her. They even heard it was hard to cure domestically, so they drained their savings to send her abroad for treatment. And what did we get in return? Death. So yeah, people need to respect others' fates. Stick your nose where it doesn't belong, and you'll end up miserable. It's not like they were changing my college application. Why should I give a damn? The next day, our family of three headed straight to the airport. Most people out during summer break were students and parents. Every scenic spot was packed, but being together as a family made it all worth it. We went to Giang, checked out the free Qianling Mountain Park, saw the third largest waterfall in the world, visited the largest Miao village on the planet, and climbed the sacred Buddhist mountain Fanjing. Still hungry for more, we headed to Yunnan. We didn't go home until just before school started, carrying local specialties. We walked back into the compound. The security guard Uncle Li handed me a package. Xiao Yu, this is your admission letter, right? It just arrived today. His eyes were full of envy. Why haven't the letters for the Xia kid, Zhao kid, and Chen kid come yet? Their families have been throwing graduation parties these past few days. You all did great, applying to Peking University together. How come you got yours from the same school, but theirs haven't shown up? Does the school send girls' letters first? I heard from Lu Lily that her little Xia is the top liberal arts student in the province, and the other two are in the top 10 provincially too. You guys are amazing. My mom handed him a bag of Guizhou potato chips, cutting off his chatter. This is a specialty from Guizhou. It's good, try some. Uncle Li, we'll head up now. As we entered the neighborhood, we saw Xia Mingzhi's mother. I remembered her from my past life, when our research was classified as national level. Plenty of corporate heiresses and even provincial officials' daughters set their sights on the rising star Xia Mingzhi. She stopped mentioning my relationship with him. An orphan girl like me, she thought, wasn't good enough for him. Even after I started dating Xia Mingzhi, she pushed him to go on blind dates. My son's going to Peking University. Ha ha ha. He and Ningyu, one in sciences, one in humanities. They'll work together and double their success. They're definitely getting married. I've already planned it. Ningyu gets pregnant in her sophomore year, gives birth in her junior year, still in her early 20s. Having kids young makes recovery easier. I'll help raise the kid. When Ningyu graduates, she'll help my son start a company and have a few more. Their genes are top-notch. My parents heard this for the first time and were furious. My mom rushed up. Lu Lily, what are you saying? My daughter is still in school. She's not having kids, she's going to Peking University. My dad's tone was harsh. Lu Lily, that arranged marriage thing was a joke between me and old Xia, over a decade ago. Neither kid has any interest in each other now. Stop talking nonsense. Lu Lily saw them and toned down her smile. They get along so well. It's fate that they'll marry. They're even going to Peking University together. Lu Lily never finished middle school. Xia Mingzhi's father, who worked in the education bureau, was 10 years older than her. When he went to mediate a domestic violence case at her place, he felt sorry for her, helped her out, and feelings grew between them. She's always been proud of having Xia Mingzhi as her son. In this old neighborhood, everyone's sick of her bragging, but annoyed or jealous. You can't deny it. Her son really delivered. Since high school, he's been crowned the school heartthrob for his looks and grades. My parents were fuming, but I spotted two people walking over in the distance, Xia Mingzhi and Wang Yaya. Seeing the commotion, they quickened their pace. I said flatly, Auntie Lu, you can't just say things like that. Xia Mingzhi already has a girlfriend. I hope everyone will stop linking us together from now on. Thank you all. Lu Liuli frowned. How could my Mingzhi have a girlfriend? His girlfriend is you, Mom. At that moment, Xia Mingzhi appeared in everyone's sight, and they also saw the woman beside him. She wore super short shorts, revealing a large tattoo on her calf, a red leather crop top, big red hoop earrings with a ring of tiny diamonds. On closer look, one ear had 5 piercings, and her hair was dyed wine red. Xia Mingzhi's hair was also dyed yellow. He was holding her hand, a sweet smile plastered on his face. When he saw our family, he froze. Only then did he realize I hadn't shown up in front of them all summer. Xiao Yu, let's go home. My parents were teachers, and they hated girls like this the most. You can be bold, you can be bright, but you can't sink to this level at a great age, not studying hard, not cherishing yourself, turning yourself into this. Wang Yaya had a pack of cigarettes stuffed in her super short shorts, and she was fiddling with a lighter. Seeing me, a flicker of mockery crossed her eyes. Ningyu, you went to work a summer job, weren't you the one who liked hanging out with us? Why haven't we seen you all summer? I glanced at her and followed my parents home. Ningyu, Yaya is talking to you, what kind of attitude is that? Xia Mingzhi saw me ignoring them, and thinking about how I hadn't been hanging out with them lately. His tone turned cold. Wang Yaya leaned on Xia Mingzhi's shoulder, acting pitiful. It's fine, she never liked me anyway. Hearing that, Xia Mingzhi raised his voice. Ningyu, get over here and apologize to Yaya right now. But I was already far away, leaving them only a cold back. Lu Liuli, however, froze after the two appeared. Mingzhi, who is this? Why did you dye your hair like that, Mom? Wang Yaya cut in first. Auntie, I'm Mingzhi's girlfriend, Xia. Mingzhi stared at my fading back, silent. He thought I'd turn around because of Wang Yaya's words, but I didn't even acknowledge it. Going upstairs with my parents. What? The aunties in the neighborhood were all stunned. They never expected the top student Xia Mingzhi to find a girlfriend like this. They thought he'd end up with me, since we were both top students. A perfect match, Lu Liuli screamed. Xia Mingzhi, you said you were going on a trip after the college entrance exam, and you went with her. 15 days ago, her son said he wanted to go on a graduation trip to the Northwest Loop with friends. They gave him money, let him relax. Who knew he'd go with this woman? She clearly wasn't from a decent family. Yeah, Wang Yaya smiled, nestling in his arms. Auntie, we're planning to get married. When Mingzhi goes to college, I'll stay home and take care of you. Lu Liuli was almost furious. She pointed at Wang Yaya. You think you're worthy? What are you, some peacock from a club? Mom, how can you talk about Yaya like that? Xia Mingzhi got angry too. Yaya had given him her first time, and they'd had a great time outside these days, but he looked at my already vanished back, feeling a tightness in his chest, because he just realized I hadn't been around for a long time. Then, thinking of something, he relaxed. It's fine, we'd be going to Peking University together soon, I'd be easy to win over, and we'd all hang out again. Wang Yaya was pissed. Mingzhi, look at her. Xia Mingzhi looked around. A crowd had gathered. He quickly pulled his mom and Wang Yaya home. After all, he was the top liberal arts student, and there was a college entrance banquet coming up. He couldn't lose face in front of so many people. Back home, Xia Mingzhi talked it over, saying they were just dating, no marriage plans yet. Lu Liuli was persuaded after a while, thinking her son was going to Peking University and would meet better girls. This Wang Yaya was just a fling, so she let it go. Wang Yaya had no choice but to drop it. After calming them both down, Xia Mingzhi breathed a sigh of relief. Lu Liuli looked at him. The day after tomorrow is our family's college entrance banquet. Go dye your hair back. Your dad's boss will be there. As the top liberal arts student, you've made him proud. He's about to get promoted. Don't embarrass him. Fun is fun, but don't mess with the banquet. Wang Yaya, however, clung to Xia Mingzhi and whined. I won't let you dye it back, you said. This is our love color. She was practically hanging all over Xia Mingzhi. Lu Liuli couldn't bear to watch, itching to storm over and slap her twice, but she talked herself down. Her son had been suffocated by a good girl like her for too long, so he was just messing around with something fresh. It wasn't like he was actually getting married. Men, after all, date around. It only benefits their future wives. Xia Mingzhi grabbed Wang Yaya's restless hands, looking at her with helpless affection. I'll dye it back after the graduation banquet. This is about my dad's promotion. He's been waiting 10 years for this chance. If he gets it, our family's set for life. Wang Yaya pouted at that. Fine, but you owe me. We're going to the internet cafe tonight to game. Xia Mingzhi tapped her nose fondly. Deal. Lu Liuli gritted her teeth. Whatever, just treat Wang Yaya like a toy. Her son would end up with a better girl later anyway. 3. My parents didn't even ask about me and Xia Mingzhi. When we got home, the three of us tore open the envelope. Inside was indeed the admission letter from Peking University. They handed out the local specialties to friends in the neighborhood, casually mentioning we weren't throwing a graduation banquet. They also told everyone I'd chosen Peking University and had received the letter. When they came back, I was on the phone with my classmate, my desk mate. She'd done well too, but she picked Tsinghua University, both in the capital. We agreed to report on the same day. After hanging up, I found them both staring at me. What's up? I sat between them, munching on the watermelon my dad had cut, looking totally carefree. You and Xia Mingzhi. They trailed off, knowing how much I used to like him. Just neighbors now. I stuck the toothpick back into the watermelon. From now on, our family has nothing to do with him. Good. Mom and Dad understand. My dad patted my shoulder. The world's big, fly free. My mom hooked her arm around my shoulder. That's right. We've always got your back. I leaned into my mom's shoulder, my eyes darting around. Then let's head to the capital early. We can explore, and skip all those gift money obligations here. Deal? My dad slapped his thigh. I'll finally see the school I've always dreamed of. My mom got excited too. Yeah, I've wanted to visit Peking University since I was a kid. As teachers, they both admired top-tier schools. Knock, knock, knock. Someone rapped on our door. My dad went to open it. Who is it, Uncle Ning? It's me. Xia Mingzhi stood at the door. My dad remembered he'd also applied to Peking University, and since I'd be at the same school, he couldn't just slam the door. He opened it with a smile but didn't invite him in. What's up, Mingzhi? Xia Mingzhi looked past him at me sitting in the living room. School's starting soon. I wanted to ask when Ning Yu's leaving. We could go together. Hearing that, I stabbed a piece of watermelon. We weren't heading the same way. My dad chuckled. We're taking her, meaning, no need to tag along. Xia Mingzhi nodded, then looked at me. Ning Yu, come out. I need to talk to you. In the past, I'd have scrambled over, but today's me wasn't the fool from before. I'm busy, Dad. Close the door, don't let the mosquitoes in. With that, I walked into my room. Ning Yu, let's talk. Xia Mingzhi's voice turned anxious when he saw I was ignoring him. His answer was the door slamming shut. Xia Mingzhi clenched his fists. He was sure I was jealous, pissed about him dating Wang Yaya, convinced I cared too much, so I was giving him the silent treatment. Just then, Wang Yaya showed up, her face burning with rage. Mingzhi, what are you doing here? Didn't you say you were stepping out for a smoke? Seeing this, my dad's attitude cooled. Mingzhi, head back. We're exhausted from the trip. My dad shut the door, looked at my mom, and shook his head. That Mingzhi's lost it, picking a girl like that as his girlfriend. My mom glanced at him. Not our problem. My dad nodded. True. For the next day, as we were about to leave, a typhoon grounded all flights at the airport. When I got the refund notice, I was speechless. We'd planned to head to the capital close to the start of school, totally forgetting about the typhoon days. Lu Lily came over with an invitation. Our graduation banquet's tomorrow. You guys have to come. Their place was right across from ours. After all these years, my parents had work ties with Xia Mingzhi's dad, so they couldn't really say no. You have to come. Too. You and my Mingzhi, you're the top in liberal arts, he's the top in sciences. The education bureau leaders are coming tomorrow. Getting to know each other would be good for both of you. I wanted to refuse, but my mom grabbed my hand. Okay, we'll go. After the door closed, my mom looked at me. No matter what happened, you've been friends for so many years. Just going for a meal is fine. You'll still be at the same school later. If you make things too awkward, people will think my daughter really can't let go of her son. I nodded. Okay, honestly, Xia Mingzhi's admission letter should arrive tomorrow. I have to come watch the show. Zhao Liang and Qin Yu's graduation banquets were already done. Their parents had banners up. Congratulations to my son Zhao Liang for getting into Peking University. Congratulations to my son Qin Yu for getting into Peking University. Those banners were still hanging in the neighborhood. Everyone was going to take photos with them. This neighborhood had produced 4 kids heading to Peking University. Property values were bound to go up. On the day of the Xia family's banquet, Xia Mingzhi's was even flashier. 6 banners in the neighborhood at the restaurant entrance. They were handing out little gifts, printed with Xia Mingzhi, G Province Liberal Arts Top Scholar. A lot of people came to grab gifts, soaking up the top scholar's luck. When I arrived, Lu Lily was holding the admission letter from the post office. She couldn't bear to open it. She said she'd save it for the Education Bureau leaders to open later, the leaders personally unsealing the top scholar's letter. What a dramatic moment that would be. My parents and I found a secluded table to sit at, but plenty of other parents were around, and they dragged my folks off to chat. I sat there bored, playing Candy Crush on my phone. Are you avoiding me? I heard the familiar voice but didn't lift my eyes from the game. You Ning, what are you even mad about? I didn't do anything to you, and Wang Yaya isn't what you think. We were just buddies at first. His lips twitched, but he couldn't bring himself to say it. I let out a laugh. What you two are has nothing to do with me, but calling yourselves buddies is hilarious. Zhang Fei and Guan Yu never slept together. Of course, none of my business. I just think it's funny. Xia Mingzhi's face went pale. How long are you going to keep this up? Just because on the day we filled out our applications, we asked you to sit farther away. You didn't even say a word before going home. We were playing games and couldn't find you. Do you know how worried we were? I said flatly. You played games until dawn, right? Only remembered her when the sun came up. His face stiffened. Xia Mingzhi's tone turned resigned. Don't be mad anymore. We'll be at the same school later. I'll take care of you. I looked at him. Who needs your care? Get the hell away from me. Xia Mingzhi shot up. You Ning, you're really sick. When we're at the same school, don't come begging me for help. You Ning, did you piss Mingzhi off again? Zhao Liang and Qin Yu showed up. They frowned at me. Because of Yaya. Seriously, if you like Mingzhi, using this cold shoulder tactic, you're not even half as cute as Yaya. Yeah, Yaya would never pull stunts like you. I rolled my eyes. Only now did I realize how blind I used to be. Guys, what are you doing? Just then, Wang Yaya ran in from the door, hooking her arms around both their shoulders, wedging herself between Zhao Liang and Qin Yu. Her curvy figure caught their eyes, her perfume intoxicating them, and those soft arms. They were a little jealous of Xia Mingzhi. After all, Yaya had said she'd treat Chen Liang as her big bro and the younger Qin Yu as her little bro, and Xia Mingzhi was her lover. Those two could only play those roles, protecting her forever. Zhao Liang looked at her adoringly. Nothing. Let's sit over there. There's a show later, and the view's better from that side. Qin Yu grinned too. You'll take the center seat later. Okay, thanks, big bro and little bro. She pulled her arms back and turned to Xia Mingzhi. Honey, let's go. She shot me a smug look, but found I wasn't even glancing at the three of them. She was inwardly thrilled, thinking I must be seething with jealousy, since these three used to be my childhood friends but now treated me coldly. Xia Mingzhi looked at me. You Ning, you'll need me someday, and when you do, I won't forgive you. They turned and walked away. By then, quite a few classmates had trickled in. My table was filled with people my parents knew. They asked about my situation, and my parents humbly gave the details. Then Zhao Liang and Qin Yu's parents arrived, both holding their admission letters. Everyone was waiting to open them together. There were plenty of reporters today, and they wanted their moment in the spotlight. Zhao Liang and Qin Yu also introduced Wang Yaya to their parents, saying they'd taken her as a little sister/big sister and would protect her forever. Their parents, seeing their sons were happy, didn't stop it and chatted with Wang Yaya. Wang Yaya had a sweet tongue, making them laugh heartily. She even threw a few digs at me, saying I only knew how to study all day and had turned into a bookworm, while praising herself as lively and fun. 5. My parents didn't hear it. They had too many friends. They hadn't gone to anyone else's college banquet. So today, running into everyone, they were all catching up. I focused on eating, planning to wolf down 2 bowls and head home. That's when Lu Lily excitedly grabbed the mic and stepped onto the stage. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to come to my son Xia Mingzhi's college banquet. My son has been outstanding since kindergarten, always bringing home good kid awards. I'll skip the endless praise, a long-winded list of compliments that many parents jotted down, thinking, so that's how you raise a top-scoring son. Xia Mingzhi's dad also got on stage, holding the admission letter, smiling as he looked at his boss. After all, he was a big shot in the education bureau, and now he had high hopes for the province's top scorer. I want Director Zhao to open this admission letter. Surrounded by the crowd, Director Zhao smiled, feigning reluctance, but eventually stepped up. Then I guess I'm lucky enough to have this honor. Personally opening the top liberal arts scorer's letter, it's a once-in-a-lifetime privilege. Only Director Zhao deserves to open it. He's the perfect fit. Exactly. This is a top-tier national university. Lu Lily laughed too. Director Zhao's status matches this admission letter. Both are top-tier. Everyone flattered him, and Zhao Liang and Qin Yu's parents also got on stage. My son got into Peking University too. Director Zhao. Open them together. Yeah, let's soak up some of Director Zhao's luck. Director Zhao's eyes crinkled into slits from smiling. I've heard your neighborhood produced 4 Peking University admits. Who's the other one? Everyone looked our way. Director Zhao knew my parents. Xia Mingzhi's dad whispered something in his ear. His face soured. Then I'll just open these 3. Some people think they're too good for me. The director. My parents were instantly isolated. With Director Zhao saying that, everyone was scared of getting caught in the crossfire. I even caught whispers. Asterisk, can they still be principals after this? Asterisk, comma, asterisk, no way. They've offended the director. Asterisk, comma, asterisk, there. So high and mighty, didn't even throw a banquet. Is it because it's a daughter? Asterisk, comma, asterisk, yeah, daughters always marry out. No matter what school, they'll just end up supporting their husband's career. Asterisk, my parents' faces darkened, and they wanted to walk away, but I grabbed them. Mom, Dad, don't rush, the show's not over yet. The Xia Zhao, and Chen families look down on us. After today, their families would climb the social ladder. Wang Yaya shot me a smug look, asterisk all because of your grades, you wouldn't let them hang out with me before, asterisk, now they don't hang out with her either, asterisk I'm the group's favorite now, asterisk comma asterisk what good are her grades, hahaha asterisk, 6, amid the flattery, Director Zhao opened Qin Yu's admission letter, Qin Yu set off a party popper, chest puffed out as he looked down at the crowd, asterisk I'm a Peking University scholar too, asterisk, but as the crowd cheered and reporters' cameras flashed, Director Zhao's face grew darker, his chest heaved, his beer belly rising and falling with it, he slammed the letter onto Qin Yu's head. What trash school is this, and you dare make me open it? Everyone froze, Qin Yu froze too, he scrambled to pick up the letter, and there it was in bold, Shihong City Agricultural College. Qin Yu collapsed to the floor. How is this possible? How? Qin Yu's mom grabbed the letter and fainted on the spot. Qin Yu's dad panicked. Director Zhao opened Zhao Liang's letter and threw it on the ground too. Are you insulting me? Then he opened Xia Mingzhi's. Thinking, I've got to get a Peking University one, or those first two are too unlucky, asterisk I might even jinx myself, asterisk, but when he opened it and saw the same Shihong City Agricultural College, he exploded, hurling the paper at Xia Mingzhi's dad. You're fucking with me, you'll pay for this. He stormed out of the restaurant in a rage. His lackeys glanced at the school name and fumed too. Xia Zifeng. Who are you trying to insult? Xia Zifeng, your son got into some third-rate vocational school. And you still invited us to a banquet, you've got no shame. The whole group immediately bailed, many others crowded around to look, their faces twisted in confusion, some gloated, some were puzzled, and some outright laughed. Xia Mingzhi and the other two were stunned too, they had clearly applied to Peking University. What kind of trash school was this? They exchanged glances, and a thought struck them, the day they filled out their applications. It was Wang Yaya, and at that moment, Wang Yaya froze as well. She remembered something and wanted to run, but Xia Mingzhi grabbed her. Yaya, didn't you say you helped us fill in Peking University? Yaya, what's going on? The three of them bombarded her with questions, and Wang Yaya panicked. She knew this was serious, especially since all three sets of parents were staring at her now, their eyes like they wanted to kill. She didn't know what to say, because she had forgotten to completely put it out of her mind. That day after filling it out, they'd all gotten hooked on gaming. They pulled an all-nighter, then went home to sleep. The next day, they set off on their trip. They'd had so much fun along the way. She could still remember it, only now did she recall the schools she'd filled in for them. Wang Yaya knew that if she admitted it, she'd be cursed to death. The three of them might forgive her, but their parents never would. Just then, she spotted me, and her eyes flickered. It was Ningyu. Ningyu changed your applications. Everyone turned to look at me. Wang Yaya continued, that day, when you went to the bathroom, Ningyu ran over, changed your applications, and submitted them. I was buying a Coke at the time, and when I came back, she was just leaving your seats. It was her. Wang Yaya knew they'd believe her, since she'd already painted me as a jealous bitch, and it had been so long that the internet cafe's surveillance footage had been overwritten. Plus, there were so many people that day, it was impossible to track down witnesses. In short, I had to take the fall. You're full of shit. Even Gao Zhi's mother couldn't hold back the curse. You little punk, daring to slander my daughter, I'll tear your mouth apart. Zhao Liang roared. Ningyu, why did you do this? Ningyu, even if you hate us, you can't mess with our applications. Qin Yu pointed at me. Ningyu, I'll make you rot in jail. You've ruined my life. The parents of the Chen, Zhao, and Xia families glared at me, ready to charge. Ningyu, you bitch. Lu Lily had already rushed at me, and I grabbed a stool and swung it at her. I didn't do it. I looked at everyone. What would I gain from this? Wang Yaya cut in. You're just jealous of me. You like Xia Mingzhi, and when you saw him hanging out with me, you wanted to destroy them. Zhao Liang's grades had taken a lot of effort to bring up. He might not pass the exam next year. Ningyu, I want you dead. His parents were about to rush over and hit me, but other uncles held them back. Xiao Yu isn't like that. Calm down. There must be a misunderstanding. Qin Yu pointed at me. Ningyu, I knew you were this venomous. Knowing you is the most disgusting thing in my life. Why don't you just die? Ningyu, I won't let you get away with this. Xia Mingzhi ran over and grabbed me by the throat. Ningyu, I hate you. You dared to change my application. I'll make you pay. My dad quickly pulled me away, and a group of people held Xia Mingzhi back. They were like rabid beasts. Their parents even started cursing my mom and dad. I got angry too. I said it wasn't me, it was Wang Yaya. I have proof, I'll cast it on the screen right now. Chen Yu smashed a beer bottle and pointed the jagged edge at me. How could it be Yaya? She's not as evil as you, Ning Yu. I'll kill you today. I'm still a minor, I won't have to pay with my life. Chen Yu had a few days until he turned 18, and he was already charging at me. Zhao Liang's face darkened, waiting to finish me off, still daring to slander pure Yaya. You deserve to die, Chen Yu, kill him. Xia Mingzhi glared at me. Ning Yu, I'll never like a vicious woman like you. If you don't die today, you'll die tomorrow. Some adults were pointing and whispering about me too. Xiao Yu, you really went too far this time. No wonder the whole family went on a happy trip. In this neighborhood, only her daughter got into Peking University, so she's got some nerve. My parents protected me, of course, they believed I didn't do it. I finally connected to the Wi-Fi. I have a video proving it wasn't me. I took a deep breath, suppressing my emotions, and cast the recorded video onto the big screen. I'd never had a chance to explain, and I never thought Wang Yaya would actually try to pin it on me. Wang Yaya was still smugly watching me stir up everyone's anger, but when she heard I had a video, she was shocked at that moment. The screen showed Wang Yaya altering their college applications. After finishing, she cheerfully opened a game for them. As for me, I sat far away in my seat the entire time, never moving. I didn't leave until they were still deep in their game. Everyone who saw the truth froze. Those who had cursed me and my parents now wore ugly expressions. It was you, you bitch. Lu Lily charged forward, grabbing Wang Yaya as she tried to run, pinning her down and slapping her across the face, one blow after another. My parents looked exhausted and heartbroken. I took their hands and said, "Let's go." The parents of the Chen, Zhao, and Xia families pummeled Wang Yaya. Meanwhile, Xia Mingzhi and the other two stood frozen, staring at the scene. It really was Yaya who had changed their applications. 7. My parents and I decided to take the high-speed train to the capital, leaving the next day. I just hoped they wouldn't let those messy affairs ruin their mood. Luckily, after I explained everything to them, they felt reassured and followed me north. During my time at Peking University, my parents rarely returned to the neighborhood. Without needing to take care of me, they simply lived in the school dormitory. I blocked those three and never contacted them again. Later, I heard from classmates that Xia, Zhao, and Chen didn't go to West Red City for school. Instead, they repeated a year. Wang Yaya didn't go to jail either, because she was pregnant. She claimed she didn't know which of the three was the father. None of the three families wanted her as a daughter-in-law, and they pressured her to abort, but she knew that if she had an abortion, she'd definitely end up in prison, so she refused to abort and clung to Xia Mingzhi's family. Xia Mingzhi couldn't drive her away no matter what. He had thought Wang Yaya was only with him, but it turned out she had also been involved with Zhao Liang and Chen Yu. He felt sick to his stomach, wanting only to repeat the year properly and then come find me at Peking University. Zhao Liang and Chen Yu felt the same way. They owed me an apology. After Wang Yaya gave birth, all three families got paternity tests, only to find the child wasn't related to any of them. The three were even more furious, but they couldn't just send a woman who just had a baby to prison. By the time they took the college entrance exam the next year, Wang Yaya had worn them down completely. She dumped the child at the Xia family's doorstep and ran off. None of the three families wanted the kid, but the police locked onto them, forbidding them from abandoning it. All three did terribly on the exam, failing to even qualify for a second-tier university. I'm going to repeat again. Xia Mingzhi stared at the cobwebs on my family's front door. I'm going to Peking University. I'm going to find Ningyu. Lu Lily cried her eyes out, and Xia Zifeng lost his job. Zhao Liang and Chen Yu also wanted to repeat, constantly talking about coming to Peking University to find me, but in the third year, they still didn't pass. The fourth year was the same. Their families could no longer afford to support their retakes. Maybe life only gives you one chance, and once you miss it, it's gone forever. When they scraped together money to come to Peking University, they looked at the prestigious campus, its students bright and confident, so radiant. They were filled with regret. If only they hadn't trusted Wang Yaya so much back then, they would have been the chosen ones too. That year, I also graduated from Peking University. When they arrived, I was taking graduation photos with my classmates. After the photos, the three blocked my path. I frowned at the sight of them and turned to leave, but Xia Mingzhi grabbed my hand. Ningyu, I was wrong, give me a chance, let's be together properly. Ningyu, Zhao Liang and Chen Yu also reached for my hand. I screamed, help, perverts. At that, my classmates rushed over and rescued me. The three were thrown out by security and sent to the police station. I didn't bother with what happened next, because I got into graduate school. With my memories from my past life, my team and I developed even better. In fact, Zjia Corporation even invested in our ideas. 3 years later, my teammates and I had all become industry elites. At 30, our invention won an international gold medal, was even used in the military, and took part in a parade. 8. After my parents retired, I went home once to take them to the capital. Back in the neighborhood, the security guard was still the same one, chasing after my parents with flattery. Quite a few aunties chatted with my parents. See, Ning Yu's the one who made it, not like Xia Mingzhi. He's delivering food now. I heard he just got into a car accident and had to be dragged home because he couldn't afford treatment. Zhao Liang's working as a security guard here. I went to the mall the other day, and he was the one lifting the parking lot barrier for me. Chen Yu's whole family moved away. I heard they went to the countryside to raise pigs. Last year, they got hit by swine fever and lost everything. Who knows if they're alive or dead. Ning Yu's the best. She bought a house in the capital and is taking her parents there to enjoy life. I've never even been to the capital in my whole life. I also heard that Director Zhao got arrested because he was a public servant, yet he indulged in lavish eating and drinking, and even accepted bribes. Back at the front door of our house, my dad tore down the cobwebs. It's been a long time since we've been back. Inside, only a few old photos are worth remembering. Opening the door and stepping in, I looked at this home full of memories, feeling a bit nostalgic. After all, I spent my entire childhood, adolescence, and youth here. Ning Yu, my parents went to tidy things up, and I heard a voice behind me. Xia Mingzhi rushed over in 2 or 3 steps, about to hug me. I'm sorry, Ning Yu, thank God you're still alive. Wang Yaya lied to us. Her leg was never hurt, she was just scamming you for money. The moment you died, she showed up, she tricked us, drained all my money, and got Chen Yu thrown in jail. Zhao Liang was lured to northern Myanmar by her. Ning Yu, we wronged you, but luckily, I've been reborn. I'll make it up to you. Let's get married. Ning Yu, I grabbed a kitchen knife from the table and pointed it at him. Get lost. Listening to his words, I knew he had been reborn too, but what did that have to do with me? Xia Mingzhi stared at me, as if just snapping back to reality. Right, the you right now isn't the you from the past life. Are you mad at me for hurting you before? Ning Yu, I was wrong. Ning Yu, were you waiting for me? You never dated or got married. You were waiting for me. His face was full of affection, but I picked up my phone to call the cops. Get out now, or you can explain yourself to the police. He froze. Ning Yu, get lost. As he stepped closer, I kicked him in the groin. His leg was in a cast, and now he crumpled to the ground in pain, staring at me in disbelief, never expecting I'd actually hit him. My dad rushed over, dragged him out, and slammed the door shut. He quickly wiped his hands with alcohol. What a piece of bad luck, dirtying my daughter's eyes. I put down the kitchen knife. Don't worry, Dad, I've learned Taekwondo, I can protect myself. My mom let out a sigh of relief too. She was also afraid I'd actually cut him. I have a beautiful life ahead of me, no need to ruin it over something like him. Looking at my parents' gray hair, I was grateful that at least in this life, our family was doing fine. To avoid Xia Mingzhi clinging to us, our family of 3 left Ji province that afternoon. The next time I heard about Xia Mingzhi was on the trending searches. Breaking, former top liberal arts scholar sentenced to death. Xia Mingzhi actually killed Wang Yaya, earning himself the death penalty. The reason was that Wang Yaya came back to claim her daughter, pushed Lu Lili, and Lu Lili died on the spot, so Xia Mingzhi killed her. Xia Zifeng died of rage on the spot, and Wang Yaya's daughter was sent to an orphanage. I skimmed through the news and moved on. I've figured it out. There's no need to ruin myself over those people. Karma will punish them on its own. I looked at the crowd below, a slight smile curling on my lips. This was the new product launch for the team I was leading. I gave a long product presentation, and the applause was thunderous. A reporter asked me about the secret to my success. I smiled and said, let go of the urge to help others, respect their own fates, and step into a beautiful life. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. Whenever I make a wish, my mother-in-law suffers double the backlash. I wished to find 100 yuan, and my mother-in-law immediately lost 200. I touched my belly and said, I want a pain-free pregnancy. My mother-in-law instantly suffered unbearable abdominal pain, collapsing to the ground in Convulsions, I added. I want to give birth to twins naturally. She rolled her eyes and fainted from the pain in her stomach, but the double wish backlash system said that if I stopped, I would die on the spot. If I don't use it, I die. I used it, and my mother-in-law suffered. Although she wasn't very kind to me, she didn't deserve to die. I had planned to endure it silently on my own, until I saw the accidental death insurance policy she bought for me. Now I feel relieved. It turns out to be the wicked mother-in-law. Just enjoy it to the fullest. 01 wish system. Suddenly, a voice appeared in my mind. Congratulations, host Su Wei, you have bound the double wish backlash system. Make a wish, or you will die. My name is Su Wei, and I am pregnant. I thought I was experiencing pregnancy brain fog and having hallucinations. Countdown begins. 23, 59, 59. If no wish is made within the time limit, the host will die on the spot. Default recipient, mother-in-law. That voice sounded again, cold and emotionless. I sat on the sofa, watching a food show on TV. My stomach growled with hunger. Mother-in-law Lu Yulan was busy in the kitchen, but her meals were never for me. She only cooks for her precious son, Zhou. I swallowed hard, with a try-it-and-see attitude. I silently thought to myself, I wish I could find 100 yuan right now. I can't just drop dead on the spot. This wish is small and safe. As soon as the words left my mouth, I got up to go to the bathroom. It felt like I kicked something with my foot. I lowered my head. A crisp red 100 yuan bill lay quietly beside my slippers. I froze. I bent down and picked it up. The money was real. My heart began to race. Just then, a scream came from the kitchen. It was my mother-in-law, Lu Yulan. Oh no, my money. She rushed out in a panic. The 200 yuan I just put in my pocket is gone. It was the money for buying groceries. How could it just disappear like that? She yelled while rummaging through her pockets. It was completely empty inside. My gaze fell back on the $100 bill in my hand. An absurd thought rose in my mind. I wished to find $100. Mother-in-law lost 200. Double wish backlash system. Could it be like this? Mother-in-law is still searching all over the living room. Did you take it? Her suspicious gaze swept over me. I've been taking good care of you all day long, and you still steal my money. I tightened my grip on the money in my hand, feeling a bit uneasy inside. It's not me. Zhou walked out of the room. Mom, don't talk nonsense. Su Wei isn't that kind of person. Lu Yulan immediately put on a look of grievance. Son, this is all I have, just 200 yuan. Without it, what will we eat for lunch? Looking at her like that, I felt a wave of disgust in my heart. She complains about being poor every day, but I know she has at least a 6-figure deposit in her bank card. Zhou sighed. He took out 300 yuan from his wallet and handed it to her. All right, stop looking, take this to buy groceries. Lu Yulan immediately beamed with joy. My son is still the one who treats me best. She took the money, gave me a smug look, and turned to go into the kitchen. I sat on the sofa, feeling as if I were in a dream. Host, please note that you must make at least one wish per day, otherwise, the system will deem it as slacking off and directly eliminate you. That cold voice sounded again. I shivered. This is not a dream. It's true. I won't use it. I'd rather die. If I use it, my mother-in-law will suffer. Even though she treats me poorly, is harsh and critical, and sees me as an outsider, but making her lose money, or possibly suffer something else, is not right. I feel bad about it. In the evening, Zhou was still working overtime and hadn't returned. Lu Yulan made pork rib soup. The aroma filled the entire house. I sat at the dining table, filled with anticipation. Ever since I got pregnant, I've been craving meat. Lu Yulan brought out a clay pot and placed it in the center of the table. Then, she took out 2 bowls. A bowl filled to the brim with meat and broth was placed right in front of her. Another bowl, containing just a few sips of clear soup with 2 vegetable leaves floating on top. She pushed that bowl of clear soup toward me. You're pregnant. It's better to eat something light, she said with an expressionless face. Greasy food isn't good for the child. I looked at the small mountain of spare ribs piled in her bowl. Then I glanced at the clear soup in my bowl. So thin I could see my reflection. Resentment and anger welled up in my heart. This wasn't the first time. Ever since I got pregnant, she hasn't let me have a single decent meal. Either she says this is too nourishing, or she claims that is harmful to the fetus, but she herself, however, eats lavish meals of fish and meat every single day. My lips twitched, wanting to argue back. What are you looking at? Eat your food. Lu Yulan glared at me, picked up the largest piece of spare ribs, and stuffed it into her mouth. My son works hard to earn money. I need to nourish myself so I can take good care of him, She ate until her mouth was greasy. I silently picked up the spoon and took a sip of the clear soup. It had no taste at all. The voice in my head is urging again. 3 hours left until the deadline ends. Host, please make a wish as soon as possible. I look at my mother-in-law's selfish face. Thought uncontrollably surfaced. I wish all of mother-in-law's ribs would fall to the ground. As soon as this wish formed in my heart, there was a loud clatter. The bowl full of spare ribs in front of Lu Yulan slid off the table without warning. The bowl shattered into pieces. Spare ribs and broth spilled all over the floor. It was greasy and a complete mess. Lu Yulan was stunned. She remained frozen in place, still holding the chopsticks poised to pick up a rib. A full 3 seconds passed. Only then did she let out a scream like a slaughtered pig. My ribs. She looked at the mess on the ground with heartache. Then she suddenly looked up, glaring at me fiercely. It's you. It must have been you. She pointed at my nose, her eyes almost spitting fire. You jinx, are you jealous that I'm eating meat and use some kind of sorcery? 02 double stomach pain. I looked at her furious expression. There was no longer the guilt from before in my heart. Instead, there was a hidden sense of satisfaction. The bowl was placed on the table and fell on its own. What does that have to do with me? I put down the spoon, my tone calm. Lu Yulan trembled with rage. How dare you talk back? If it wasn't you, then who? There's only the two of us here. She stood up, wanting to rush over and hit me. I instinctively protected my stomach. Try touching me if you dare. I looked at her coldly. The child in my belly is your Zhou family's grandson. That sentence indeed worked. Lu Yulan's movements came to a halt. No matter how much she disliked me, she cherished this unborn grandson dearly. She withdrew her hand resentfully, pointing at my nose. She cursed. Just wait until my son comes back. I'll tell him all about this. You unfilial daughter-in-law, you won't even let me have a bite of meat. She started sitting on the floor, picking up the broken pieces while wailing and crying. I ignored her after that, silently finishing my bowl of clear soup. Then I got up and returned to my room, lying in bed. I thought for the first time that this system might not be a bad thing. Early the next morning, I was suffering from severe morning sickness, leaning over the toilet, feeling like all my internal organs are about to be vomited out. Lu Yulan stood at the door, arms crossed, watching the commotion. Such a delicate flower. She curled her lip and made a sarcastic remark. In our day, we had to work in the fields even when we were pregnant. We weren't as delicate as you are now. I didn't have the energy to argue with her. I rinsed my mouth and walked back to the living room, leaning against the wall. My whole body felt weak. I touched my belly and silently make a wish in my heart. I hope my pregnancy will be comfortable, free from any pain or discomfort. This wish is for myself and also for the baby in my belly. The wish had just been made. I immediately felt the turmoil in my stomach subside. My body regained its strength. I felt much more relaxed overall, and at that moment, a cry of pain came from Lu Yulan in the living room. Ouch! She was about to go to the balcony to hang the laundry. Suddenly, she clutched her stomach, and her expression instantly twisted in agony. My stomach, it hurts so much. She bent over, fine beads of cold sweat breaking out on her forehead. My heart skipped a beat. Double backlash. I want a pain-free pregnancy, so the backlash she suffers is double the abdominal pain. Ouch! It hurts so much. Lu Yulan was in so much pain that she couldn't stand, collapsing directly onto the ground, her body curled into a ball. Trembling uncontrollably, her face was deathly pale, and her lips were quivering. It doesn't seem like she's faking it. I'm starting to panic a little. Even though I dislike her, I never wanted her to suffer like this. Mom, what's wrong with you? I walked over, wanting to help her up. Don't touch me. She pushed me away fiercely, her eyes filled with venom. It's you again, you jinx. Ever since you came back, nothing good has happened to me. She was in so much pain that she couldn't even speak clearly. Watching her suffer, I felt a mix of emotions. At that moment, a thought flashed through my mind. The system said that the backlash of making a wish is doubled. Then if I make another wish, could it make her more? No, I shouldn't think like that. She doesn't deserve to suffer this much. I took out my phone, ready to call 120. Lu Yulan, however, held my wrist tightly. Don't hit. She squeezed a few words through her teeth. Going to the hospital costs money. I could hardly believe my ears. Even in such pain, all she can think about is money. What a true miser. Through and through, the more she acts like this, the less guilt I feel in my heart. I shook off her hand. Serves you right if it hurts to death, I said coldly. At that moment, an even bolder idea emerged. Since the backlash is doubled, what would happen if I made a wish about having a child? I touched my belly. Speak softly. I want to have a natural birth and give birth to twins. This wish has always been my dream. It would be wonderful if it could come true. After I said this, Lu Yulan on the ground suddenly let out a piercing scream. That cry was louder than any before. Her eyes widened abruptly, her body convulsed violently, then, her eyes rolled back, and she fainted directly. I was startled. He crouched down to check her breathing, still breathing, just passed out from the pain. I breathed a sigh of relief, looking at my unconscious mother-in-law. The last bit of sympathy and guilt in my heart is slowly fading away. This family. This mother-in-law, perhaps it's time for a change. 03 accident. Insurance. I didn't call an ambulance. Instead, I called Zhou Hao. I told him Lu Yulan had a stomachache and was rolling on the ground. Zhou Hao hurried back from the company. He was terrified to see his mother lying unconscious on the floor. What happened? What's wrong with Mom? He yelled at me. I don't know. I pretended to be scared. He was fine this morning, but suddenly he complained of a stomachache and then fainted. Zhou Hao quickly carried Lu Yulan on his back and was about to take her to the hospital. I stopped him. Wait a moment. I pointed at Lu Yulan's tightly clenched fist. She wouldn't let me call an ambulance just now, saying it would cost money. It seems like she's holding something in her hand. Zhou Hao was taken aback, carefully prying open Lu Yulan's hand. A key, damp with sweat, fell out. It was the key to the bedroom safe. Zhou Hao's face turned grim. He said nothing, carrying Lu Yulan on his back as he rushed downstairs. I knew that he had already grasped most of the situation in his heart. His mother values money as much as her own life. Even if she were in excruciating pain, she wouldn't be willing to spend a single cent on medical expenses. I followed slowly behind. My heart was very calm. At the hospital, after a series of examinations, the doctor said there was no major issue. It was just acute gastroenteritis, combined with emotional agitation, that caused the pain to make me faint. After receiving the 4-drip, Lu Yulan woke up as soon as she opened her eyes and saw Zhou Hao by the bedside. Tears began to fall. Son, I almost didn't get to see you again. She held Zhou Hao's hand, crying with tears and sniffles. It's all because of that jinx. She glared at me fiercely. Ever since she entered our family, I haven't had a single good day. Zhou Hao's face showed a hint of impatience. Mom, the doctor said it's acute gastroenteritis. It has nothing to do with Su Wei. You should avoid eating so much greasy food from now on. Upon hearing this, Lu Yulan became even more agitated. What do you mean it has nothing to do with her? I think she's the one who brought this misfortune on me. Son, listen to your mother, divorce her, kick her out. I stood by, watching her performance with a cold eye. There was no ripple in my heart. Zhou Hao was getting a headache from her noise. Mom, can you please say a little less? He pulled out the payment slip. The examination fee and medicine cost a total of 1,200 yuan. You can reimburse it yourself. After saying that, he shoved the slip into Lu Yulan's hand and turned to leave. Son, don't go. Lu Yulan stared at the payment slip, dumbfounded, looking at the number on it. Her heart ached so much that her face turned green. I walked up to her. Mom, get some good rest. I mimicked the tone she usually used when speaking to me. Money is a small matter. Your health is what's important. After saying that, I didn't look at her again and turned to leave the hospital room. Returning home, I always feel a bit uneasy inside. The system says that if I stop making wishes, I will die on the spot. This means that my mother-in-law will have to endure this pain continuously. Although I dislike her, I don't want her to die. I decided to tidy up the house to distract myself. While cleaning Zhou Hao's study, I noticed the desk drawer was unlocked. As if guided by some mysterious force, I pulled open the drawer. Inside was a craft paper file folder. Curiously, I opened it. I pulled out a stack of documents from inside. When I saw the title on the first page, my breath caught. That is an insurance contract. Ping, an accidental death insurance policy. Policyholder, Zhou Hao, insured, Su Wei, and in the beneficiary column, 3 words were clearly written. Lu Yulan. The insured amount, 3 million. My mind went blank with a buzzing sound. It felt as if all the blood in my body had instantly frozen. They bought me accident insurance. The beneficiary is my mother-in-law. I slowly flipped through the pages. The insurance's effective date was the 2nd month of my pregnancy. On the last page of the contract, there was Zhou Hao's signature. The handwriting was flamboyant, and I recognized it as his. I held the thin insurance policy, but my hands were trembling uncontrollably. A chill shot from the soles of my feet straight to the top of my head. All the guilt, reluctance, and sympathy I had felt for Lu Yulan before vanished completely in that moment. In their place was a bone-chilling cold and overwhelming fury. So that's how it is. It turns out, in their eyes, the child in my womb is just a tool to exchange for a huge insurance payout. As long as I die in an accident, they can get 3 million, and the child, the Zhou family can have it too. What a clever plan. I smiled, laughing until tears streamed down. I actually felt guilty for that malicious old woman before. I was so foolish. Well, that's just great. I am completely relieved. I put the insurance policy back into the document folder exactly as it was. I dried my tears and closed the drawer. As if nothing had ever happened, I walked to the balcony and watched the bustling traffic below. The corners of the mouth curled into a cold arc. The wicked mother-in-law. Just enjoy it to the fullest. This is just the beginning. I took out my phone and looked at the time. A new day is almost here. My daily wish-making task should also begin. I closed my eyes and silently recited in my heart, I hope my mother-in-law stays up all night tonight. 04 sleepless night. My wish came true. Immediately, the whole night, there was no peace in my mother-in-law's room. First came the sound of tossing and turning, then her barely suppressed sighs of frustration. Lying in bed with my eyes closed, I could vividly picture her restless, tormented state. I know the taste of insomnia all too well. During the early stages of pregnancy, I also experienced sleepless nights due to hormonal changes at that time. I asked Joe how to chat with me, but he impatiently pushed me away. Not working during the day, not sleeping at night. Are you trying to become an immortal? Don't bother me, I have to get up early for a meeting tomorrow. His cold words and icy back chilled me more than the darkness of the late night. Now, this pain has been returned twofold to his dear mother. Truly, what goes around comes around. In the dead of night, Lu Yulan seemed to have reached her limit. The door to her room was pulled open with a bang. I heard her pacing back and forth in the living room, muttering to herself. Can't sleep, why can't I just fall asleep? Feeling restless, as if ants are crawling all over my body. It must be that Jinx, it must be her. Her voice grew louder, filled with resentment and neuroticism. I opened my eyes, stared at the ceiling, and a cold smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Can't handle it already. The best is yet to come. Around 4 in the morning, Zhou returned. He reeked of alcohol and his steps were unsteady. As soon as he opened the door, he was startled by Lu Yulan, who was disheveled in the living room. Mom, what are you doing here instead of sleeping? Lu Yulan seemed to have found a savior, grabbing his arm tightly. Son, you're finally back. I'm about to be driven crazy by that woman. I didn't sleep a wink all night. She must have put a curse on me in the room. Zhou frowned and pushed her hand away. Mom, what nonsense are you talking about again? What era is this? Still talking about curses. He wearily pinched the bridge of his nose. I'm exhausted. Can you just leave me alone for a while? Talking nonsense. Son, why don't you believe me? Lu Yulan was on the verge of tears with anxiety. Ever since she got pregnant, nothing has gone right for me. First, I lost money, then I had stomach pains, and now I can't even sleep. She's just a demon. She's here to bring ruin to our family. Zhou's patience had clearly run out. Enough, he growled under his breath. Can you stop being so suspicious all the time? Su Wei is pregnant with your grandchild. Can't you be a little nicer to her? I work myself to the bone outside for this family, and when I come home, I still have to listen to you complain about these trivial matters. Don't you think I'm tired of it? After saying that, Zhou walked straight into the bedroom. Lu Yulan was left standing there, stunned by his outburst. It took a long while before a cry of grievance finally burst out. Lying in bed, I heard every word of their conversation clearly. Did Zhou stand up for me? No, he wasn't defending me. He's just tired and annoyed. He just doesn't want the trivial matters at home to affect his career outside, that career that could earn him 3 million in accidental compensation. I gently stroked my belly. Baby, can you hear me? Your father and your grandmother are not good people, but don't be afraid. Mommy will protect you. Mom can do it too. Make them pay the price they deserve. The next morning, I walked out of the room feeling refreshed and invigorated. Lu Yulan sat on the sofa with 2 large dark circles under her eyes, her gaze vacant and lifeless. When she saw me, the hatred in her eyes almost seemed to solidify into something tangible. I turned a blind eye and walked straight into the kitchen. I heated a glass of milk for myself and fried 2 eggs. Rich aroma wafted through the living room. Lu Yulan's stomach let out an untimely growl. She didn't sleep all night, so she must be tired and hungry now. I walked past her with a plate in my hands. Good morning, Mom, I greeted her with a smile. You don't look well. Did you not sleep well last night? Would you like some too? I deliberately pushed the plate toward her. She stared fixedly at the breakfast in my hand, her lips trembling, unable to utter a word. I know she's on the verge of breaking down. Perfect. I just love seeing her look like she wants to kill me but can't do anything about it. 05 The backlash of money. After finishing breakfast, I sat on the sofa and took out My phone, start browsing baby and maternity products, imported formula, brand name strollers, soft pure cotton clothing. Each item is quite expensive. I add the items I like, one by one, to the shopping cart. Soon, the total price exceeded 10,000. I looked at that number, feeling completely indifferent inside. Then, I raised my head and looked at my mother-in-law, who was still sitting on the sofa across from me. Her eyes vacant, she was still suffering from insomnia. I also felt wronged for being scolded by my son last night, but I know that these mental torments are not enough for her. Lu Yulan is someone who loves money as much as her own life. Only by making her suffer a huge financial loss can she truly be hurt. So, I closed my eyes and made today's wish in my heart. I hope that my bank card will immediately have an extra 20,000 yuan. I will use this money to buy the best things for my baby. The moment the wish is spoken, I immediately received a text message from the bank. Dear customer, a deposit of RMB 20,000,000 was transferred into your savings account ending in XXXX on X month X day at 10:35. The current balance is RMB 20,152.34. Done. I smiled with satisfaction, and the double backlash should begin as well. Sure enough, within just a few minutes, Lu Yulan's phone rang. The piercing ringtone sent a shiver through her entire body. She slowly picked up her phone and answered the call. Hello, who is this? Her voice sounded weak and listless. It was unclear what the person on the other end of the line said. Her expression suddenly changed. What? My medical insurance card was fraudulently used in another location. Spent 40,000 yuan on medicine. This can't be. My card is right here with me. As she spoke, she frantically rummaged through her wallet to pull out her health insurance card. The card is here. How could it have been stolen and used? What? Saying I'm an accomplice of a fraud gang, and freezing all my bank accounts. And I have to cooperate with the police investigation. Lu Yulan's voice grew louder, filled with panic and disbelief. I watched coldly. So it turned out to be a telecom scam. It's still the oldest trick in the book. Under normal circumstances, with Lu Yulan's shrewdness, she might have been able to see through it, but now, tormented by insomnia, she is mentally dazed and slow-thinking. The scammer's tactics are like a dimensional attack on her. Officer, I didn't do it. I'm innocent. I've always been law-abiding my whole life. How could I possibly be involved with a fraud ring? She was so anxious she was almost in tears. Then, what should I do? Transfer the money to a secure account for asset verification. Okay, I'll cooperate. I'll definitely cooperate with the investigation. She seemed to have grasped a lifeline, obediently following the instructions of the person on the other end of the phone. I watched as she clumsily operated her mobile banking app. Cold sweat covered my forehead. My fingers trembled uncontrollably from nervousness. I didn't make a sound to warn her. I even found it somewhat amusing. Every villain meets their match. This swindler, in a way, is serving justice. A few minutes later, she hung up the phone and let out a long sigh of relief, slumping onto the sofa. It felt as if she had just gone through a major battle. She murmured to herself, fortunately, the police officer said the money will be refunded once the verification is complete. Scammers these days are really getting out of hand. I almost fell for it. She seemed completely unaware that she was the one who had already been deceived. I lowered my head and continued browsing the baby and maternity products. Place an order for all the selected items in the shopping cart. Payment successful. Spent 20,000 yuan. I feel incredibly delighted, using the money I scraped from her to buy things for my child. This feeling is just too wonderful. An hour passed. Lu Yulan seemed to sense that something was off. She picked up her phone again, wanting to call the comrade police officer from earlier to ask about the situation. However, the call could no longer be connected. The prompt indicated it was an empty number. With trembling hands, she logged into her mobile banking app to check her balance. When she saw the glaring 000 in the account balance column, she froze completely. A full 10 seconds passed. Only then did a heart-wrenching scream erupt in the living room. My money, 06 shattered family ties. Lu Yulan has gone mad. She collapsed on the ground, crying, screaming, and rolling around like a child who has lost a beloved toy. No, it's much more serious than that. Money is her life. Now, her lifeline has been cut. Still a full $40,000. My retirement savings. I've worked hard and saved all my life for this money. Damn scammers. They deserve to die a horrible death. She beat her chest and stamped her feet, crying her heart out. I sat on the sofa, watching her coldly. There was no pity in my heart. How much of this money was saved by her skimping on my living expenses? How much did she squeeze out of Zhou Hao? Now that I've been completely swindled, I guess I deserve it. She cried for a long time, her voice growing hoarse. Then, as if suddenly remembering something, she scrambled up from the ground and rushed over to me, her bloodshot eyes were fixed on me. It's you, it must be you, you jinx, who caused this. I couldn't sleep last night because of your curse, and today my money is gone. You're a disaster, you've driven away all my good luck. She reached out her hand, trying to grab my hair. I was already prepared and dodged backward, avoiding it. Mom, calm down. I looked at her with a gaze full of concern for someone with intellectual disabilities. You were scammed out of money, you should go to the police, not go crazy at me here. Do you think the police will believe your story about being cursed? My words were like a bucket of cold water poured over her head. She froze. Right, call the police. She frantically found her phone and dialed 110. On the phone, she explained the situation in a jumbled and incoherent manner. After listening, the police simply gave her a routine response, telling her to go to the nearest police station to file a report. They also informed her that in cases of telecom fraud, the chances of recovering the money were extremely slim. This news became the straw that broke the camel's back. After hanging up the phone, Lu Yulan completely broke down. She stopped crying and making a fuss. She just sat on the ground in a daze, her eyes empty, muttering incessantly, "It's gone, all the money is gone, 40,000 yuan, all gone." In the evening, Zhou Hao returned home from work. As soon as he entered the door, he sensed the strange atmosphere in the house. He frowned upon seeing the disheartened Lu Yulan. "Mom, what's wrong with you again?" Seeing him, Lu Yulan felt like a drowning person who had spotted a floating log. "Son, Mom's money was scammed, 40,000 yuan." She clung to Zhou Hao's leg, wailing loudly. After hearing the whole story, Zhou Hao's face turned ashen. He did not comfort her. Instead, a surge of anger rushed to his head. 40,000, where did you get so much money? I give you 3,000 a month for living expenses, and your own pension is just over 2,000. How could you possibly have saved up this much money? He stared intently at Lu Yulan, his gaze sharp as a knife. Lu Yulan was left speechless by his question, stammering and unable to respond. That was what I saved up before. Saved up before? Zhou Hao sneered coldly. "Mom, don't think I don't know. Did you withhold Su Wei's money again? Did you not give her a single penny of the nutrition allowance I gave her?" Zhou Hao's words hit the mark. Lu Yulan's face instantly turned deathly pale. I didn't." Her defense was feeble and unconvincing. Zhou Hao trembled with rage. "None? Then tell me, have you ever bought me a single piece of clothing? Have you ever contributed anything to this household? What do you do with your money besides saving it? Now it's all gone, completely swindled. Are you happy? Are you satisfied?" He pointed at Lu Yulan's nose and began shouting at her. That was the first time I saw Zhou Hao lose his temper so fiercely. He vented all his pressure and dissatisfaction onto his mother at that moment. Lu Yulan was scolded so harshly by him that she didn't dare utter a word in rebuttal. She just kept crying incessantly. I stood to the side, silently watching this dramatic scene of a mother and son turning against each other. I felt extremely pleased inside. I decided to add more fuel to the fire. I patted my belly and walked over to Zhou Hao. I gently tugged at his sleeve. "Honey, don't be angry," I said softly. "Mom didn't mean it either. Money can be earned again, but if you ruin your health, it's not worth it." Then, I looked at Lu Yulan and said with feigned consideration, "Mom, don't be too sad. I just received 20,000 yuan in pregnancy subsidy today. How about using it to help you out first?" I said it as if it were nothing, but to Lu Yulan and Zhou Hao, these words were no less than a thunderclap. $20,000 pregnancy subsidy. Zhou Hao looked at me in surprise, and Lu Yulan's eyes instantly shifted from grief to jealousy and resentment. She had worked hard to save up her money, only to have it all swindled away, and yet, in her eyes, I, the jinx, somehow ended up with an extra 20,000. How unfair. This isn't fair. I could clearly see the hatred in her eyes growing even more intense. "That's right, hate me. The more you hate, the better. I want nothing more than to drive a wedge between you and your mother, to sow suspicion and hatred between you. That 3 million insurance policy is a sword hanging over your heads, and I am the one who handed you the sword. The game has only just begun." 07 The reversal of looks. The argument between mother and son that night was like a thorn, piercing the already fragile relationship within the family. The house was eerily quiet. Zhou Hao started leaving early and returning late, deliberately avoiding the oppressive atmosphere at home. Lu Yulan locked herself in her room, like a trapped animal. Only I, with a peace of mind like never before, I caress my belly every day, feeling the rhythm of new life. Occasionally, I walk up to the mirror. Pregnancy has left me a bit swollen, and a few dull spots have appeared on my face. I look at my slightly haggard self in the mirror and think of Lu Yulan's sharp, unkind face. A thought suddenly arises, what do women care about most, besides money, if not their face? I close my eyes, my fingers gently tracing across my cheek. A new wish task has begun. I wish my skin could return to its peak condition from when I was 18, smooth, firm, delicate, and full of collagen. The moment the words fell, I felt a warm current surge through my entire body. A faint, tingling tightness spread across the skin of my face. I opened my eyes. In the mirror, I looked like a different person. The puffiness was gone, the dark spots had faded, the skin radiates a healthy, natural glow from within. The fine dry lines at the corners of the eyes have been smoothed away completely. I look several years younger. I smiled with satisfaction. At that moment, a sharp scream came from my mother-in-law's room. The voice was filled with fear and disbelief. I curled the corner of my mouth and leisurely poured myself a glass of warm water. The room door was suddenly slammed open. Lu Yulan rushed out. She stared at me as if she had seen a ghost. No, to be more precise, she was staring at my face. What's wrong with your face? What happened to your face? Her voice trembled as she pointed at me. I pretended not to understand and touched my own face. My face? What's wrong with it? Isn't it fine? Maybe the baby feels sorry for me and made me prettier. I said it as if it were nothing. Lu Yulan seemed to have been struck by a tremendous shock. She rushed frantically to the mirror in the living room. Then, a second, even more piercing scream echoed throughout the house. In the mirror was a face that had aged 10 years in an instant. Her once well-maintained skin had now become loose and sallow. Deep wrinkles, as if carved by a knife, had appeared out of nowhere at the corners of her eyes and mouth. The most terrifying part was her hair. At her temples, strands of black hair were rapidly turning white, visible to the naked eye. Ah! She covered her face in despair. My face, my hair, it's you, it must be you, you witch. She turned around abruptly, her venomous gaze like nails, determined to pin me in place. Give me back my youth. She lunged at me, claws bared and teeth gnashing. I was prepared and nimbly dodged behind the sofa. Mom, what nonsense are you talking about again? Have you been under too much stress lately, causing you to hallucinate? I spoke the most heart-wrenching words in the most innocent tone. She trembled with anger at my words, yet there was nothing she could do about it. At that moment, the door opened. Zhou Hao had returned. As soon as he entered, he saw the chaotic scene. One was radiant and full of energy, disheveled and aged in an instant. The stark contrast left him frozen in the entryway. Mom, your face. He stared at Lu Yulan in shock, unable to form a complete sentence. Lu Yulan found her pillar of support and scrambled over, stumbling and crawling. Son, look at her. Look at what she's done to me. She pointed at me, weeping and wailing. She knows dark magic. She's drained my life force and used it to beautify her own face. Hurry up and drive her out. She'll bring death upon our entire family. Zhou Hao's gaze shifted between my youthful, smooth face and his mother's aged, haggard one. His brows were tightly furrowed into a deep knot. As a modern individual with a higher education, he certainly didn't believe in any kind of sorcery, but the bizarre scene before him defied explanation. First, the money went missing, then came the inexplicable stomach pain, followed by being swindled out of 40,000 yuan. Now, it's this inexplicable instant aging again. Everything has happened too coincidentally, so coincidentally that it sends shivers down his spine. He looks at me, his eyes for the first time carrying scrutiny and suspicion. Su Wei, what on earth is going on? He asked in a deep voice. I stroked my belly, wearing an expression on the verge of tears. I don't know. I've been at home all day, doing nothing. Mom, she's been acting a bit off since this morning. With just a light remark, I shifted all the blame away. Zhou Hao's expression grew even more unpleasant. He looked at his mother, who seemed to be in a state of madness, and his wife, who appeared pitiful and delicate. Finally, he waved his hand impatiently. Enough, stop arguing. Mom, you just haven't been resting well lately, and you're overthinking things. Go back to your room now. Don't embarrass yourself here. He scolded his mother verbally, but his eyes, like those of an eagle, were fixed intently on me. I know, he was starting to suspect me, but it's okay. Doubt is the first step in destroying trust, and I have plenty of time and patience. 08 Abandoned by all, the atmosphere at home has dropped to a freezing point. Lu Yulan no longer dared to go outside, covering her face with a silk scarf all day long. She was afraid to look in the mirror, afraid to see her own aging face. Zhou Hao spoke less and less, and the way he looked at me grew increasingly complicated. He was like a detective, constantly observing my every move, trying to find the flaws in those bizarre incidents from me. I am happy to play along with his performance every day. I behave properly, drink water, take walks, and do prenatal education, be a perfect, flawless pregnant woman, but I know, that's not enough. Lu Yulan's greatest weapon is not her sharp tongue, it's the network of connections she has built up over decades in this community. Those busybodies are her most loyal followers. As long as she goes out and cries, black can be turned into white. I must completely cut off her escape route. A new day, a new wish. I sit on the balcony, basking in the warm sunshine. I hope that all the neighbors in this community genuinely like me. Let them all think that I am a kind, gentle, and filial daughter-in-law. Let them all become my strongest support. This wish sounds simple and unassuming, yet it is the most vicious soft knife. In the afternoon, I checked the time and prepared to go downstairs for a walk. As soon as I opened the door, I ran into Aunt Zhang from across the hall. In the past, when she saw me, she would at most give a nod. Today, however, she was as warm as if she had seen her own daughter. Oh, Xiao Wei, are you going out? Look at your complexion, it's really getting better and better. You're pregnant. Walk slowly, be careful of the steps. I smiled in response to her concern. As I went downstairs, every neighbor I encountered greeted me with a smile. They praised me for being sensible, for being beautiful, and said the baby in my belly must be very healthy. It was as if overnight, I had become the model daughter-in-law of this neighborhood. I sneered inwardly. The double backlash must have already struck Lu Yulan. Just as expected, in the evening, Lu Yulan finally mustered the courage to go downstairs with her face covered. She wanted to find her old friends and cry about my crimes. She had just reached the small garden downstairs. Aunt Wang and Aunt Li, who usually hovered around her, turned their heads away in unison as soon as they saw her. The atmosphere instantly turned awkward. Lu Yulan mustered her courage and approached them. Old Wang, what are you all chatting about? Aunt Wang gave her a forced, insincere smile. Nothing much, just chatting casually. Yulan, what happened to your face? Why is it still covered? Another Aunt Li, who usually has the best relationship with her, also spoke in a sarcastic tone. I heard you were scammed out of 40,000 yuan a few days ago, and you said it was your daughter-in-law's fault. I say, Yulan, you really shouldn't think that way. Xiao Wei is such a good kid, so gentle and filial. You shouldn't take your blessings for granted and keep giving her a hard time every day. That's right, we've all seen it. Since Xiao Wei married into the family, she hasn't said a single bad word about you, but you, on the other hand, always have a sour face, as if someone owes you millions. The people around chimed in one after another. Every word was in my defense, pointing the finger at her. Lu Yulan was completely bewildered. Were these still her allies, who had always followed her every word? How could they all defect overnight? What kind of bewitching potion has she given you all? She shouted angrily. She's a demon. You've all been deceived by her. Her words only earned her more contemptuous and distant looks from the neighbors. I think you're the one who's gone mad. Lost your own money, embarrassed yourself in your old age, and now you're blaming your daughter-in-law. We're leaving, there's no reasoning with you. The crowd dispersed in a noisy uproar. Only Lu Yulan was left, standing alone in place. She was like an abandoned stray dog, utterly disheveled. She returned home in a daze. As soon as she entered, she saw Zhou Hao and me sitting on the sofa, talking. I was gently discussing with Zhou Hao which brand of diapers to buy for the baby. Time passes peacefully, and the couple is in harmony. The resentment in her eyes was almost blazing with fire. It's you, isn't it? She rushed over, pointing at me. What on earth did you do to those neighbors? Why are they all speaking up for you? I looked up, completely bewildered. Mom, what are you talking about? The neighbors were just telling the truth. Your mental state has been really poor lately. Would you like me to accompany you to the hospital for a checkup? I looked at her with deep concern, my tone sincere. You're the one who needs to go to the hospital. Your whole family needs to go to the hospital. She screamed hysterically. Zhou Hao's patience had finally reached its limit. He stood up abruptly. Enough. Isn't it enough for you to go crazy at home every day? Do you have to go out and make a fool of yourself too? If you keep making such unreasonable trouble, go back to your hometown in the countryside. These words struck Lu Yulan like a bolt from the blue. Back to the countryside? That would be worse than killing her. She looked at her son in disbelief. This son she had cherished and raised with utmost care since he was a child. Now, for the sake of an outsider, he actually wants to drive her away. Her heart is completely shattered. She looks at Zhou Hao, then at me. Her eyes are filled with despair, and I, meeting her gaze, revealed a triumphant, icy smile. 09 The beginning of madness. Lu Yulan was completely deflated. Zhou Hao's words, go back to the countryside, were her Achilles heel. She had grown accustomed to being domineering in this city, How could she possibly be willing to return to that impoverished and remote place? She no longer made a scene, she just became gloomy all over, like a dark cloud that would never disperse. The way she looked at me also changed from simple resentment to something more complex. Within it, there was now fear. Knew she was afraid of me. She was afraid of my inexplicable sorcery, which is great. Fear is the best controller. An eerie peace settled over the household, but the daily task of making wishes must not cease. I must ensure that the sword hanging over her head remains forever sharp. I began to make some more subtle wishes. I hope my hearing becomes exceptionally sharp. Not even the slightest rustle of grass will escape my ears, so I can better protect my baby. This is the most normal wish a mother could have, but its backlash is enough to drive a person mad. The day after the wish was made, Lu Yulon began to show abnormalities. She would sit alone in the living room and suddenly start talking to the air. Who's there? I pretended not to see her and walked past. When it was time to eat, she would suddenly put down her bowl and chopsticks, listening intently with a nervous expression. Did you hear that? She asked me and Zhou Hao. It seems like someone is calling me. Zhou Hao glanced at her impatiently. Where is anyone? You're being paranoid again. Lu Yulon's face turned deathly pale. No, there really was. It was a man's voice. He said he was a policeman. She remembered the phone call that had swindled her out of her money. Fear, like a vine, coiled around her heart. I lowered my head and ate quietly, but the corners of my mouth couldn't help but curl upward. Double backlash. My hearing just became more acute, but she, on the other hand, experienced double, severe auditory hallucinations. In the following days, the situation escalated further. She heard more and more voices, growing increasingly clear. Sometimes it was the scammers mocking her. Old woman, I've spent all your money. Sometimes it's the neighbors gossiping about her behind her back. Look at her, she's like a madwoman. Sometimes, it's even my own malicious curses. I'll curse you to death. I'll curse your whole family to death. These voices tormented her day and night, pushing her to the brink of a mental breakdown. She began to stuff her ears with cotton and cover her head with a blanket, but those sounds, as if growing directly from her mind, were inescapable. I decided to deliver the final blow. I timed it just as Zhou Hao was about to get off work. I walked into the kitchen, pretending to reach for the high cabinet. Then, my foot slipped, and I accidentally fell to the ground. I wasn't actually hurt, but I let out a painful groan. Ouch! This cry of pain immediately alarmed Lu Yulon, who was already on edge in the living room. She rushed into the kitchen and saw me sitting on the floor, clutching my stomach. She froze, and at that moment, the auditory hallucinations in her mind reached their peak. Countless voices were screaming, "Kill her, kill the bastard in her belly, she's dead, and you're free, then the 3 million is yours, 3 million, insurance policy." This number, like a curse, instantly shattered her last shred of reason. Her eyes instantly turned bloodshot. A fierce and crazed expression appeared on her face. "It's you, it's all because of you. You devil, I'm going to kill you." She lunged at me like a raging lioness. I screamed in terror and backed away. "Mom, what are you doing? Are you crazy?" I acted it out perfectly, just as her withered hands were about to grasp my neck. Click. The door was opened from the outside. Zhou Hao had returned. What he saw was a scene straight out of hell. His aged, insane mother was about to kill his pregnant, fragile wife, and his mother was still muttering frantically, "Kill you, get 3 million. Zhou Hao's pupils suddenly contracted. "Mom, stop," he roared as he rushed over, shoving Lu Yulon away with force. Lu Yulon stumbled from the push and crashed into the wall. Seizing the opportunity, I scrambled behind Zhou Hao, trembling and sobbing. "Husband, I'm so scared. Mom wants to kill me. She wants to kill our child." Lu Yulon was still screaming frantically. 3 million. It's all mine. Kill her." Zhou Hao looked at her crazed appearance, listening to the words, 3 million, coming from her mouth. A bone-chilling cold shot from the soles of my feet straight to the top of my head. He understood everything. He looked at his mother's unfamiliar, crazed face, then he looked at my pale, helpless face and my heavily swollen belly. That $3 million abdomen. He made the most rational, yet also the coldest decision. He took out his phone, his fingers trembling as he dialed a number. His voice was as cold as ice. "Hello, is this Kongning Psychiatric Hospital? I have a patient here, and the situation is very serious. She has violent tendencies and attempted to murder my wife. Please, send a vehicle immediately." 10 echoes of the asylum. The psychiatric hospital's vehicle arrived very quickly. 2 men in white coats moved with professional detachment. They held restraint straps in their hands. Lu Yulon's struggles and screams seemed utterly powerless before them. "Let go of me. I'm not crazy. It's her. It's that demon who's harming me. She pointed at me, her withered fingers clawing wildly in the air. Zhou Hao, my son. Save your mother. Zhou Hao stood to the side, expressionless, his eyes empty, as if his soul had been drained away. I hid behind him, sobbing softly, portraying a pregnant woman who had been frightened to the extreme. With perfect realism, the neighbors all poked their heads out to watch the commotion. They pointed and whispered at Lu Yulan. She's really gone mad. She was perfectly fine before. How could she just go crazy like that? It must be that she was scammed out of money before and got traumatized. Poor daughter-in-law of hers, having to endure such a fright while pregnant. No one believed Lu Yulan's words. In their eyes, she was just a pitiful person who had lost her mind, and I am the most innocent victim. Lu Yulan was forcibly dragged away. Her desperate cries echoed through the hallway. Zhou Hao, you'll regret this. That woman will be the death of you. She'll be the death of our whole family. The voice grew fainter and fainter until it disappeared completely. The world was finally quiet. Zhou Hao closed the door, shutting out all the noise from outside. The living room fell into a deathly silence. He slowly turned around and looked at me. In those eyes, there was no longer any anger, nor any heartache, only a deep, bottomless, icy cold pool. 3 million, he spoke, his voice hoarse. The 3 million Mom mentioned just now, that's the insurance, right? He wasn't asking me, he was stating a fact. I looked up at him, my eyes blurred with tears. Honey, what are you talking about? I don't know anything about insurance. My acting was flawless. He stared at me intently, as if trying to find any flaw in my expression, but he failed. My current face only shows innocence, fear, and grievance. He suddenly laughed. That smile was uglier than crying. Yes, you don't know, he muttered to himself. You don't know anything. He walked to the sofa and slumped down. He buried his hands in his hair, scratching fiercely. He was plunged into immense confusion and fear. He personally sent his own mother to a mental hospital, because he heard 3 million, he was afraid that his mother would actually kill me, causing him to lose that huge compensation. But at the same time, the resentful curse his mother uttered before leaving echoed in his ears like a haunting melody. He began to fear me, fear this wife who has acted like an innocent lamb from start to finish. Everything that has happened in this house is just too bizarre. He couldn't explain it, cannot be controlled either. I walked over to him and slowly crouched down. I gently rested my head on his knee. Husband, it's all in the past. From now on, it will just be us and the baby at home. We'll be fine, won't we? My voice was as gentle as water, yet it made him tremble all over. He stiffly raised his hand, wanting to stroke my head, but that hand paused in mid-air for a long time, ultimately falling powerlessly. He didn't dare to touch me. I sneered inwardly. That's right, savor this fear. This is just the interest you deserve. The night deepened. Zhou Hao locked himself in the study and did not come out. No, he is destined to have a sleepless night tonight, and my daily wish task has arrived again. Without Lu Yulan as the perfect target for backlash, I need to find a new target. My gaze sweeps across this empty home, sweeping over those cold pieces of furniture. A perfect plan took shape in my mind. I closed my eyes. I hope this home can become spotless. I hope all the filth and impurity in this home can completely disappear. I want to give my baby the cleanest environment possible. This wish sounds so beautiful, so pure, but the double backlash will turn this home into Zhou Hao's hell. The moment the wish is made, I feel the air in the entire room has become much fresher. The floor is so shiny that it reflects one's shadow. In the air, there is a clean scent that blends disinfectant and sunlight. I smiled with satisfaction. Lying in bed, I fall asleep peacefully. Meanwhile, in the study, Zhou Hao experienced the most terrifying night of his life. He first heard the sound. It was the cries of his mother being dragged away, over and over again, echoing in his ears. Zhou Hao, you'll regret this. He abruptly stood up and rushed out of the study. The living room was empty, yet the voice seemed to be everywhere, from the walls, from the ceiling, from behind every closed door. He began to hallucinate. He saw blood seeping from the wall, bright red, sticky blood. He saw pale hands reaching out from the crevices of the sofa. They were his mother's hands. Ah! He let out a terrified scream. He huddled in the corner, trembling all over. This home he had lived in for many years. Overnight, it turned into a cold cage that devoured him. He finally understood. His mother wasn't crazy. She had simply experienced everything he was going through now, ahead of time, and the source of it all, the one lying in the bedroom, sleeping peacefully, his nominal wife, the woman he once thought he could manipulate at will, the fragile one. She is not human, she is a devil. 11. The husband's calculation. Early the next morning, I walked out of the room. Zhou Hao was sitting at the dining table. He hadn't slept all night. with deep-set eyes and a haggard face. On the table lay the breakfast he had bought, soy milk and fried dough sticks. He saw me and forced a smile. Awake, come and have breakfast, I bought it especially for you. His attitude has done a complete 180. Gone is the fear and distance from last night. Instead, there's a deliberate attempt to please and be attentive. I know he's afraid. When a person cannot overcome fear with violence, they choose to disguise and submit. He wants to keep me steady. Thank you, honey. I sat down, taking small sips of the soy milk, but in my heart, I was sneering. Do you think it's over? No. This is just the beginning of your nightmare. Everything in the house has become eerie. I wished for my home to be spotless. The backlash that befell Zhou Hao was a double dose of obsessive cleanliness and hallucinations. He began cleaning frantically. He would mop the floor 8 times a day and wipe the table 10 times. Any single strand of hair, any speck of dust, would plunge him into immense anxiety. He would also talk to the air. Mom, please stop crying. I know I was wrong. Come out, don't hide anymore. He would even kowtow to the wall. The entire person was in a state of high tension and neuroticism. He wanted to escape this home, but he didn't dare. He was afraid that if he left, I would do something even more terrible to him. He had also thought about resisting. I discovered that he had secretly installed a pinhole camera in the corner of the living room. He wanted to monitor me, want to find evidence of my spellcasting. How naive. It's time for the daily wish again. I caress my increasingly prominent belly, feeling the baby's strong movements. I hope my baby can receive the safest protection. I hope that anything that attempts to spy on and harm us will be destroyed. The wish had just been made. A soft pop was heard from the living room. Immediately after, the smell of something burnt began to spread. The pinhole camera Zhou Hao had installed short-circuited and burned out. Zhou Hao rushed over to check, his face turning deathly pale. He stared at the small object billowing black smoke, his body trembling uncontrollably. His last hope had been shattered. He realized that what he was facing was a force he could neither comprehend nor contend with. He completely gave up resistance. He began to show unprecedented obedience and thoughtfulness towards me. He bought me the best supplements. He told me jokes to make me happy. He would even kneel on the ground to massage my swollen feet. That posture made him look like the most loyal servant, but I knew what was on his mind. He was waiting for the child in my belly to be born. The moment the child is born, he will immediately drop his disguise. He would take the child away and, without hesitation, make me accidentally disappear from this world. The 3 million insurance payout was always his ultimate goal. I'm waiting to wait for the perfect moment to make him completely despair. During that time, he went to the mental hospital to visit Lu Yulan once. After returning, he locked himself in the study for an entire day. I guess he must have witnessed his mother's tragic state. She was injected with sedatives, her gaze vacant and saliva drooling uncontrollably, unable to take care of oneself for both urination and defecation. That once shrewd, harsh, and arrogant woman had turned into a walking corpse. The impact on him was undoubtedly immense. He became even more convinced of my terrifying nature. It also strengthened his determination to get rid of me. The two of us maintained a delicate balance in this eerie home. On the surface, we were a harmonious and loving couple, but in secret, we both wished the other dead. This is a silent war, and I, holding the strongest weapon, I know I am destined to win. As the due date approaches, Zhou Hao's disguise was becoming increasingly flawless. He even started decorating the nursery with me. We picked out clothes and toys for the future baby. Holding those tiny clothes, he wore a fatherly smile on his face. Su Wei, tell me, who do you think our baby will take after? Will they look more like you, or more like me? I smiled as I looked at him. Of course, they'll take after you, just like you. Smart and capable. He also smiled, smiling so sincerely, so gently. If I didn't know his true nature, I'm afraid I might truly drown in this false happiness. Unfortunately, there are no what-ifs in my heart, only cold hatred remains. Zhou Hao, your retribution is coming soon. A new wish is brewing in my heart. This will be the last straw that breaks you. I close my eyes and place my hand on my stomach. I hope I can experience the smoothest, most painless childbirth. I hope my baby can come into this world safely and healthily. I hope my son has no biological relationship with Zhou Hao. After making the wish, I felt a physical lightness I had never experienced before. All the discomforts of pregnancy vanished without a trace. I know, the final judgment day is coming soon, and Zhou Hao, he is still immersed in the fantasy of his imminent success. He doesn't know, the child for whom he has schemed everything, will become the biggest joke and shame of his life. 12. My son. I was wheeled into the delivery room one early morning, without the slightest labor pain. Everything was going unbelievably smoothly. Zhou Hao waited outside the delivery room, his face unable to conceal his excitement and anticipation. In his view, his plan was about to succeed. Once the child was born, he could rightfully take over everything, then create an accident to make me, the biggest obstacle, disappear. 3 million in insurance money, the Zhou family's lineage. He will become the ultimate winner in life. He is anxiously waiting outside, and I, in the delivery room, calmly felt the arrival of new life. A few hours later, a loud cry announced my victory. It's a boy, 7 pounds 6 ounces, perfectly healthy. The nurse brought the baby to my side. Looking at his wrinkled little face, a wave of unprecedented tenderness welled up in my heart. This is my child, it's mine alone. It has nothing to do with Zhou Hao or this filthy family. I was wheeled out of the delivery room. Zhou Hao immediately rushed up to me. He first glanced at me, then his gaze fixed firmly on the child. My son, he was so excited that he became incoherent. Reaching out to hug him, I sidestepped to avoid him. I'm tired, I want to go back to the ward and rest first. My tone was very flat and also very cold. He was taken aback for a moment, then quickly put on that considerate smile again. Yes, you just gave birth. Your health is the most important. I'll hold him, I'll hold the baby. He carefully took the child from the nurse's hands, as if cradling a rare treasure. That image of a loving father was truly nauseating. Back in the hospital room, he arranged everything, hired the best caregiver and ordered the most luxurious postpartum meals. He acted like the perfect 24 filial husband. All the doctors and nurses around praised him endlessly. Your husband is really good to you. He's so handsome and considerate. You're really lucky. I just smiled and said nothing. Lucky, my real luck is yet to come. According to hospital regulations, newborns need to undergo a series of examinations. This includes paternity testing, of course. This is just a formality. No one would actually suspect anything, except for me. I've been waiting for this report that will deliver a fatal blow to Zhou Hao. The double wish backlash system has never let me down. I wished for painless childbirth. What rebounded onto Zhou Hao was a double dose of bone-deep, soul-crushing agony. 3 days later, the paternity test results came in. Zhou Hao went to pick them up himself. He held the thin document folder with a relaxed smile on his face. As he walked back to the ward, he opened the document folder. When he pulled out that piece of paper and saw the conclusion written on it, his smile instantly froze on his face. The file folder slipped from his hand. That flimsy piece of paper also fell to the ground. I lay on the hospital bed, watching him coldly, watching the color drain from his face, bit by bit, watching his body. It began to tremble uncontrollably. He bent down and picked up the paper with hands shaking like a sieve. He read it again, and again, as if not believing their own eyes. There, in black and white, it was clearly written, based on DNA analysis results, Zhou Hao is excluded as the biological father of the male infant. Excluded, possibility. Every word was like a red-hot knife, stabbing straight into his heart. No, this can't be. He let out a low, beast-like growl, his eyes bloodshot. He rushed to my hospital bed and grabbed me by the collar. It's you, you're the one behind this, right? He looked as if he had gone mad. Whose child is this? Tell me, whose bastard is he? I looked at his frenzied face and smiled, smiling so brightly, so triumphantly. Zhou Hao, haven't you always wanted a son? Now, the son is right here. Unfortunately, he's not yours. My words, each one strikes at the heart. He let out a heart-wrenching roar. All his schemes, all his endurance, all his hopes at this moment, they all turned into a colossal joke. He meticulously planned everything, only to end up raising someone else's son. He wanted to kill me and get the 3 million, but now, the child isn't his, so he doesn't even have a reason to act. He even has to watch helplessly as I and my son take half of his family fortune. This cage that he personally crafted for me, thinking it could trap me to death. In the end, he ended up trapping himself, and it is for all eternity, with no escape. No, I don't believe it. I want to have the appraisal done again, he roared, turning around to charge out. I spoke slowly. Go ahead, you can go to any institution in China, or anywhere in the world, for an appraisal. As a result, there will only be one outcome. My voice was filled with absolute confidence, because I knew it was the power of the system, it was the power of a god, surpassing even science. He will never, ever be able to turn the tables. Zhou Hao's footsteps came to a halt at the door. He turned his head and looked at me with eyes that saw a devil. He finally understood. He lost utterly and completely lost, with not even a shred of dignity left. He, as if his backbone had been pulled out, softly collapsed onto the ground. The sunlight outside the window streamed in, so bright, so warm, yet Zhou Hao's world had already plunged into complete darkness. 13. The husband's cage. Zhou Hao lay collapsed on the ground, like a puddle of mud. The cold floor tiles in the hospital corridor were no colder than his heart at this moment, his life, his plans, his future. At this moment, everything turned into bubbles. A man he had never met before had placed the biggest green hat in the world on his head, and he, like a fool, had been smug about it, scheming and calculating for it. How laughable! It was utterly laughable. He slowly got up from the ground, leaning against the wall. His body swayed violently, the expression on his face was blank. It was a numbness born of utter despair. He pushed open the door of the ward and walked in. I was leaning against the head of the bed, holding my son. The child was sleeping peacefully. I looked at him with gentle eyes. Zhou Hao's footsteps didn't make me turn around. It was as if I didn't see him at all. He walked to the side of my bed, staring intently at me, and at the child in my arms. Why? His voice was as hoarse as sandpaper grinding. Su Wei, why are you treating me like this? I finally raised my head and looked at him. My gaze was as calm as a stagnant pool of water. To you, I let out a soft chuckle. Zhou Hao, have you forgotten about that insurance policy in the study drawer? Forget about you and your mother. How did you plan my death to get that 3 million? His body trembled violently, the color completely drained from his face. You knew all along. Of course I know. I stroked the child's soft fetal hair. From the moment I knew, you had already lost. You and your mother, both of you have lost. No, he shook his head in agony. That's different, that's money, and you betrayed me. You destroyed the roots of our Zhou family. It was as if I had heard the biggest joke in the world, the Zhou family's roots. Zhou Hao, wake up. This child, from the moment he was in my womb, has only been surnamed Su. His name is Sun Yan, commemorating my dead love and my reborn life. Sun Yan. This name struck Zhou Hao's heart like a heavy hammer. He staggered back 2 steps. Madman, you're just a madman. Yes, I admitted frankly, it was you and your son who drove me crazy. Now, it's time to change the rules of the game. From now on, I'm the one in charge of this family. You, Zhou Hao, and all the property under your name belong to me and my son. If you behave, you can still be a well-fed and well-clothed slave. If you don't, I paused, a cold smile curling at the corner of my mouth. You can go to Kongning Mental Hospital anytime to keep your mother company. His eyes widened in terror. He knew I wasn't joking. This woman, the one he once thought he could manipulate at will, has now become a devil he cannot resist. He has lost utterly and completely. All his dignity and pride have been trampled under my feet, crushed to pieces. He looked at Sun Yan in my arms with a complicated expression. There was hatred, unwillingness, and jealousy. He slowly reached out his hand, as if wanting to touch the child. I watched his movements, silently thinking to myself, a new day has begun. I hope that my son, Sun Yan, will only ever recognize me as his family. I hope that anyone with ill intentions who encounters him will make him feel disgust and fear. The wish was just made. Zhou Hao's fingers gently touched Sun Yan's cheek. Wow! The originally soundly sleeping baby suddenly let out an earth-shattering cry, as if pricked by a needle. The cry was shrill and filled with fear. Sun Yan's little face flushed bright red, her body writhing violently, as if trying to escape some terrifying monster. Zhou Hao's hand jerked back as if shocked by electricity. He froze. I gently patted Sun Yan's back, humming a lullaby. Don't be afraid, baby, mommy is here. Miraculously, as soon as my hand touched him, his crying immediately softened. Soon, he fell asleep peacefully in my arms again. Zhou Hao watched this scene in disbelief. He didn't believe in superstition. Once again, he cautiously reached out his hand. This time, before his hand could even touch the child, Sun Yan, as if sensing it, burst into loud crying once more, and he cried even harder than before. His heart-wrenching cries echoed throughout the entire ward. Zhou Hao's face turned deathly pale. He looked at this so-called son of his, this child he had long awaited, yet it did not belong to him. Even a single touch was a luxury beyond reach. This was more than just rejection, it was the ultimate humiliation. I watched him looking utterly dejected, and my heart was filled with immense satisfaction. Zhou Hao, welcome to your cage. From today on, every day of your life will be spent in hell. 14. The price of life. The day I was discharged from the hospital, the sun was shining brightly. Zhou Hao drove, while I sat in the back seat holding Sun Yan. We didn't speak a word the entire way. The atmosphere in the car was colder than a Siberian cold front. Back to that familiar home, everything seems unchanged, yet everything has changed. This home is no longer Zhou Hao's safe haven, but his cage, his execution ground. I held Sun Yan and walked straight into the master bedroom. from today on, you sleep in the guest room, I said to him in a commanding tone. You are not allowed to enter this room except for cleaning. Zhou Hao's lips moved, as if he wanted to say something. In the end, he said nothing. Silently, he moved his belongings to that small guest room. His new life has begun. At 6 in the morning, he has to get up and prepare a nutritious breakfast for me and the children. Then, he has to go to work. Like a normal man, he goes out to earn money and support the family. When he comes home from work in the evening, he cannot rest. He has to wash all the diapers that Xunyan has used. They must be washed by hand, using baby-specific soap, and cleaned thoroughly. Then, he has to clean the entire house. The floor must be polished until it shines. The furniture must be wiped until it is spotless. Only after completing all of this can he eat the leftovers from my meal. In the middle of the night, Sun Yan cried, was hungry, and needed a diaper change. He would rush over immediately, hand over the bottle, and change the diaper. Then he would roll back to his guest room. He became the highest level nanny and the most humble slave in this family. As for me, I only needed to lie in bed, accompanying my son. I swipe his card to buy the most expensive luxury goods and the finest maternity and baby products. I look at his increasingly haggard face, feeling no ripple of emotion in my heart. This is what he owes me, this is what he deserves. Zhou Hao quickly lost weight, his eye sockets were sunken, and his gaze was empty. The spirited demeanor of days gone by was no longer present on his face. He was like a walking corpse, his soul having been drained away. He merely went through the motions, repeating the same daily labor. He dared not resist, because Sun Yan is the sword of Damocles hanging over his head. If he shows the slightest disobedience, Sun Yan will punish him with the sharpest cries, making him experience what it means to be restless and what it means to be mentally tortured. It's time for the daily wish again. Looking at Sun Yan's rosy little face, a gentle wish rises in my heart. I hope my son, Sun Yan, can grow up healthy. I hope he can absorb all the nutrients, grow fair and chubby, and be immune to all illnesses. A mother's most simple wish, yet it carries the most vicious backlash. The wish took effect. Sun Yan's growth became visible to the naked eye. He changes every day, growing incredibly fast. His cheeks are like red apples, his arms like little lotus roots. He doesn't cry or fuss, making him very easy to care for. However, Zhou Hao began to have problems. He first felt a general weakness and lack of energy. Then, he began to lose hair in large clumps. In the mirror, he saw his increasingly thinning scalp. He saw his face, pale as paper. He was barely over 30, yet he looked like a little old man in his 50s. Aging was devouring him at a terrifying speed. He began to fall ill frequently. Cold, fever, gastroenteritis. Various minor ailments kept coming his way. He went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said he was malnourished and had a weakened immune system. He was prescribed a large amount of supplements, but it was of no use. Everything he ate seemed to turn into air. His body was like a deflating ball, with his vitality constantly draining away. He understood. It was Su Wei. It was Su Wei's sorcery again. She is draining his life to support that bastard. This realization sent a chill down his spine. He thought of his mother. His mother was the same, first losing money, then growing old, and finally going mad. Now, it was his turn. He had nightmares every night. He dreamed of his mother in a mental hospital, wearing a patient's gown, giving him a piercing, sorrowful smile. Son, I'll be waiting for you down there. That demon won't let you off either. Our whole family will be reunited down there. He often wakes up startled in the middle of the night. His body is drenched in cold sweat. He looks at the darkness outside the window, feeling an unprecedented fear and despair. He doesn't want to die. He didn't want to become like his mother, neither human nor ghost. He had to escape from this den of demons, escape from this she-devil. A plan, quietly taking root and sprouting in his heart. 15. The eternal curse. Zhou Hao began secretly preparing for his escape. He dared not use his own bank card. He knew that I was monitoring his account at all times. He started to withdraw cash in advance at the company. He borrowed money from colleagues for various reasons. He hid that money in the most secret corner of the office. Little by little, it adds up. Every day after work, he would buy an extra fast food meal. He hid the food in the car, and there's mineral water, compressed biscuits. He planned everything meticulously. He checked the route. He was going to a distant small town in the south where no one knew him, there, to live incognito and start anew. He had even prepared a letter left for me. The letter is filled with curses and resentment towards me. He plans to send this letter to me after he escapes, to let me know that he is not surrendering, but merely making a strategic retreat. He imagined how furious I would be when I received the letter. This became the only spiritual pillar that kept him clinging to life. 1 month later, he felt the time was ripe. he had saved $50,000 in cash. The food stored in the car was enough to last him a week. He chose a late night, that day. I slept very deeply. Sun Yen was also unusually quiet. The entire world was terrifyingly quiet. He tiptoed out of the guest room, without any luggage, only the car keys and the office keys. He walked to the door and took one last look back at the house, this place that sent him plummeting from heaven to hell. His eyes were filled with hatred. Su Wei, just you wait, one day, I will come back for revenge. He gently opened the door and walked out, then, gently, he closed the door. The motion sensor light in the hallway did not turn on. He vanished into the darkness like a ghost. He had succeeded. He got into the car and started the engine, feeling the car drive out of the neighborhood. He let out a long sigh of relief. Free, he was finally free. He turned on the car stereo and played an energetic rock song. He stepped on the gas and sped down the empty street. He was going to the office to retrieve the money he had hidden. Then, he would take the highway overnight and flee the city. However, just as he was about to reach the company, he suddenly realized something was off. He had walked this road thousands, tens of thousands of times. It was so familiar it couldn't be more familiar, but today, it had become utterly strange. The buildings along the roadside seemed to have changed. He thought it was just his nerves, that his eyes were playing tricks on him. He opened the navigation app on his phone. On the screen, a red dot was jumping around wildly. The signal comes and goes. Turn around at the intersection ahead. A cold electronic voice sounded in the car. He followed the navigation's instructions and made a U-turn. He drove for 10 minutes. Turn around at the intersection ahead. It was the same intersection, the same instruction. He frowned, a sense of foreboding rising in his heart. He tried again. The result remained the same. It was as if he had fallen into an infinite loop. No matter how he drove, he could only make a U-turn at this intersection. Cold sweat began to bead on his forehead. He turned off the navigation and drove forward, relying on his own memory. He wanted to avoid this eerie intersection, but he drove for half an hour. When he looked up again, what I saw was still that familiar yet unfamiliar intersection. Ghost hitting the wall. These 3 words suddenly sprang into his mind. He shuddered all over with fear. Fear, like a tide, overwhelmed him. He jerked the steering wheel, trying to rush out from another small path. Bang! The car suddenly jolted violently. Then, it completely stalled. He crashed into the roadside stone pier. The front of the car was dented, emitting white smoke. He's finished. He slumped in the driver's seat, gasping for breath. He took out his phone, wanting to call for help. On the phone screen, the signal bar displayed a bright red cross. No signal, not a single bar. He pushed the car door, wanting to get out. The door, however, seemed to be welded shut, and no matter how hard he tried, it wouldn't open. He was trapped, stuck on this eerie, midnight street where no one would answer his cries for help. At that very moment, my face suddenly appeared on his windshield. Of course, that was just his hallucination. In the hallucination, I was holding Sun Yen, smiling right at him. That smile was gentle, yet filled with mockery. "Zhou Hao, where are you going?" My voice seemed to echo directly in his mind. "Have you forgotten? I haven't made my wish for today yet." His eyes widened in terror. He remembered every night. "I make a wish. What is today's wish? I hope that my son, Sun Yen, will never leave me. I hope that no matter where he goes, he will eventually return to my side." This is a mother's deepest love for her child. Its backlash is also the most desperate curse. Zhou Hao, as the other nominal family member in this household, he, too, can never think of leaving. No. Zhou Hao let out a piercing scream. He frantically banged his head against the steering wheel. He finally understood. He couldn't escape. He will never escape the intricate web this woman has woven for him. Daybreak arrived. The tow truck company found Zhou Hao, who had broken down. He sat in the car like a fool, eyes glazed over, drooling. He was sent back home. I opened the door. Seeing him in that disheartened state, I laughed. I walked up to him, like a gentle wife welcoming her husband home. "Honey, welcome home." My voice was soft and gentle, but became the final straw that broke him. His legs gave way. He knelt down right in front of me. He completely broke down. 16 The last dignity. Zhou Hao knelt on the ground, like a dog whose spine had been pulled out. I did not help him up. I just held Sun Yen and walked past him, returning to the master bedroom. The door was gently closed by me, separating me and him into 2 worlds. From that day on, Zhou Hao changed. He no longer had any emotions, not angry, not sad, not despairing. His eyes were like a stagnant pool, bottomless. He became a perfect robot, a high-end housekeeper, precisely executing all my commands. His daily work is heavy and trivial, but he completes it meticulously. The floor is brighter than a mirror. The meals are more exquisite than those in a restaurant. Every little piece of Sun Yen's Clothing carries the fresh scent of sunlight and soap pods. He served us, mother and child, as if serving deities, but I knew it was just a facade. Deep within his stagnant waters, there still lingered a final, unwilling resentment. What is that? It was his last shred of dignity as a man. He was still Zhou Hao. He was a department manager at a listed company outside. He still had a respectable job and a prestigious social status. That is his last line of defense, distinguishing him from a mere slave. How could I let him keep this line of defense? New day has arrived once again. I look at Sun Yan, sound asleep on the floor, his delicate little hand clutching my finger. A brand new wish takes shape in my heart. I hope that my son, Sun Yan, will grow up to be a brilliant and widely admired genius. I hope that everyone who sees him will praise him and love him from the bottom of their hearts. This wish carries the most beautiful hopes of a mother, and its backlash will undoubtedly be the most precise blow. The effect is immediate. Sun Yan, who had just turned 1 month old, actually gave me a clear, smiling expression. The maternity nurse who came to visit me was so shocked she couldn't close her mouth. Oh my, Miss Su, your baby is truly a prodigy, smiling at such a young age, and with such a beautiful smile. I've taken care of so many children, but I've never seen one so clever. I smiled and accepted her praise. My gaze, however, unintentionally drifted toward Zhou Hao, who was hanging clothes on the balcony. His back seemed to have hunched a little more. The backlash had begun. The next day, Zhou Hao went to work. He had just stepped into the office when he sensed an eerie atmosphere. Colleagues who used to greet him warmly were now avoiding him. In their eyes, there was undisguised contempt and mockery. His heart sank, and a sense of foreboding washed over him. His boss called him into the office. Zhou Hao, what's going on with this quarterly report? The boss slammed a stack of documents right in front of him. The data is off by 3 decimal points, and the logic is a complete mess. Are you an intern? Zhou Hao was stunned. He had spent 3 sleepless nights working on this report. He had double-checked it repeatedly. There was no way it could be wrong. Mr. Wang, what do you mean? You, the boss didn't even listen to his explanation. I must have been blind before to have promoted you. Look at yourself now, neither human nor ghost. What can you possibly accomplish? You've almost completely disgraced the company. The boss's roar drew the attention of all the colleagues outside the door. They pointed and whispered. I always thought there was something off about him, always looking distracted. I heard his wife cheated on him and had a child with someone else. Really, no wonder he's so pathetic now. Those malicious speculations and rumors, like sharp knives, pierced into Zhou Hao's ears. He felt icy cold all over. He wanted to refute, to roar in anger, but he couldn't utter a single word. He knew that nothing he said would be of any use. The next few days were a hellish ordeal. Everything he does goes wrong. Every word he says gets twisted. He became the laughingstock of the entire company, and a jinx. Everyone looked at him with eyes that regarded him as trash. The final straw that broke him soon arrived. An important client of the company specifically requested him to be in charge of the reception. He summoned every ounce of his energy, not daring to slack off in the slightest. But just at the final moment of signing the contract, a cockroach actually crawled out of the cup of coffee he had served to the client. The customer flew into a rage on the spot and stormed off in a huff. A deal worth tens of millions just fell through. Zhou Hao became the sinner of the company. He was publicly fired. The HR manager threw the dismissal letter right in his face in front of everyone. Zhou Hao, you're fired. Now, immediately, pack your things and get out of the company. His former subordinate gleefully tossed the items from his desk into a cardboard box. Then, like shooing away a stray dog, he was pushed out of the company's main entrance. He stood downstairs, looking up at the office building where he had struggled for 10 years. People come and go. Traffic flows incessantly. No one stopped for him, his career, his status, his pride, his final dignity as a man. At this moment, it was completely shattered, ground into dust. He returned home. His face was as calm as deathly ashes. I am feeding Sun Yan. I saw him and smiled. Are you back? How was work? Did it go smoothly? He looked at me, his lips trembling violently. In the end, he said nothing. He just silently walked into the kitchen and picked up the mop. He began his work as a slave. From that day on, he never left the house again. He became a prisoner in the truest sense of the word. 17. The end of sin. Zhou Hao had completely become a walking corpse. During the day, he is a nanny, a cook, a cleaner. At night, he curls up on the small bed in the guest room, devoured by endless nightmares and hallucinations. He is no longer the target of my revenge. He is just a trophy, a living specimen that proves my victory. My gaze turned to that more distant place, Tongning Psychiatric Hospital. There, the source of all this evil is still imprisoned, Lu Yulan. I don't know how she's doing now, but I know she's still alive. As long as she is still alive, my story is not truly over. I held Sun Yen, who was already babbling, and sat on the sofa. Zhou Hao was kneeling on the floor, using a rag to meticulously wipe the gaps between the floorboards. His movements were focused and devout, as if performing some sacred ritual. I watched him. A brilliant, and final, plan surfaced in my mind. It takes the one who tied the bell to untie it. The karmic bond between this mother and son should be resolved by themselves. It's time for the daily wish again. I gently stroked the top of Sun Yen's head. In my heart, I made the most merciful wish. I hope that Lu Yulan, who is far away in the hospital, can be free from all suffering. I hope she can attain true, eternal peace. The wish was like a stone thrown into the surface of a lake in a distant place. Deadly ripples were stirred. The backlash arrived as expected. I wished for Lu Yulan to find peace. Then the doubled backlash meant that the person connected to her by blood would feel twice the turmoil. Kneeling on the ground, Zhou Hao's body suddenly stiffened violently. He stopped what he was doing. He looked up, gazing around in confusion. His ears began to twitch uncontrollably. "Mom," he muttered to himself. "I think I heard my mom calling me." I watched coldly and said nothing. His auditory hallucinations had started again. Moreover, it is more real and more intense than ever before. "Son, save me. It's so cold here, so dark. They give me injections. They force me to take medicine. I feel so terrible. I don't want to stay here." Lu Yulan's heart-wrenching cries, pleas, and curses like countless steel needles piercing Zhou Hao's brain. He covered his ears in agony, writhing on the ground. "Stop arguing. Stop talking, Mom, stop talking." He let out a roar like a trapped beast. The whole person fell into extreme madness, and at that very moment, the phone at home rang. The piercing ringtone intertwined with the auditory hallucinations in Zhou Hao's mind, forming a symphony from hell. I walked over and picked up the phone. "Hello." On the other end of the line was a formal, cold female voice. "Is this Mr. Zhou Hao's residence? I'm from the Kangning Psychiatric Hospital." I put the call on speakerphone and placed it next to Zhou Hao, who was still struggling on the ground. "What do you want with him?" I asked. "That's the situation," the female voice continued. "Inpatient Lu Yulan, at 3:15 p.m. today, due to sudden myocardial infarction, was pronounced dead after unsuccessful resuscitation. Please have the family come to the hospital as soon as possible to complete the necessary procedures." Death, this word, like a bolt of lightning, cleaved through the chaos in Zhou Hao's mind. All his struggles, all his roars, ceased instantly. In his mind, the haunting hallucination of his mother's voice also vanished. The world fell into a deathly silence. He slowly, raised his head. His hollow eyes stared at me, stared at the faint, cold smile on my face. He understood everything. His mother's death was not an accident, just as him losing his job was no accident. All of this was done by me. This woman, this devil, she manipulated everyone's fate in a way he could not comprehend. His mother's life, in her words, was merely a symbol that could be erased at any moment. He did not cry, or did he make a scene. He simply looked at me, his eyes filled with a complete emptiness that went beyond hatred. He knew that both he and his mother had lost to this woman they had once looked down upon as weak, lost so completely that not even a trace of their bones remained. "It was you." He forced two words from his throat. "It was you who killed her." I smiled. I picked up Sun Yen and crouched down in front of him. Let Sun Yen's innocent eyes look at his nominal father. "No," I said gently, "it wasn't me who killed her, it's you. It was your greed, your indifference, and that 3 million yuan insurance policy that sent her straight to hell. Zhou Hao, you and your mother got exactly what you deserved." After saying this, I stood up and no longer looked at him. What remains for him is an endless, dark abyss. The root of sin has been eradicated. This family should also face its final judgment. 18 The eternal prisoner. Lu Yulan's death was like a gust of wind, blowing away the last breath of life from this home. Zhou Hao became even more silent. He drifted through the house like a true ghost, soundless and unseen, cleaning, cooking, and taking care of the children, day after day. The light in his eyes was completely extinguished. Time passed, unhurried and steady. For a year, Sun Yen can already walk. He is fair and chubby, clever and adorable, loved by everyone. He is my pride, my everything. My revenge is complete. I have everything I wanted: money, freedom, and a lovely son. As for my enemies, one has turned to ashes, and the other has become a walking corpse. It seems like everything should come to an end, yet, that daily wish-making task, like an eternal shackle, still binds me. I don't use it, I die. This rule has never changed. I'm starting to feel weary. I Don't want to curse anyone in this way anymore, I just want to live a peaceful life with my son. Another late night. Sun Yen is sleeping soundly beside me. Zhou Hao lay in the guest room, silent as a corpse. I gazed at the moonlight outside the window, my heart utterly empty. What should I wish for today? I looked at Sun Yen's sleeping face, with only one thought left in my heart: protect him forever. I closed my eyes and made my last, and most sincere, wish. I hope that my son Sun Yen and I can live a peaceful, tranquil, and happy life forever. I hope that all the shadows and sins of the past will completely dissipate, never to harm us again. This wish carries no aggression, it has no clear target for backlash, it is just a mother's purest prayer. The moment the wish was made, I felt a warmth I had never experienced before, enveloping my entire body. Very warm, very comfortable. Then, that cold, mechanical voice echoed in my mind one last time, but this time, its voice was no longer cold. Instead, it carried a sense of relief and peace. Karmic settlement complete, all targets of revenge have paid the price they deserved. The host's core demand, protecting descendants, has achieved its final, stable state. The double wish backlash system has completed all its missions. From now on, the binding with the host, Su Wei, will be dissolved. Unbinding process initiated. 10%, 50%, 100%, unbinding successful. Wishing you and your newborn all the best. After saying this, the voice that had haunted me for so long was completely gone. My mind is clear and bright. The threat of death that hung over my head every day has vanished without a trace. I am free. An immense, indescribable sense of relief washes over my entire body. I let out a long, deep sigh. A tear fell from the corner of the eye. I don't know if it's joy or relief. The next day, the sun rose as usual. I took Sun Yen and moved out of the apartment filled with painful memories. Using Zhou Hao's money, I bought a villa with a garden on the other side of the city. We have started a brand new life. Zhou Hao also moved here with us. He is still that silent, zombie-like nanny, only, his eyes have become even more hollow. The system has vanished, yet all the backlash it caused has become an eternal, irreversible curse. Zhou Hao's aging, his dementia, his suffering, will accompany him until the very end of his life. He became an eternal prisoner by my side, a living monument that constantly reminds me of everything in the past. On a sunny afternoon, I took Sun Yen to play in the garden. Sun Yen's laughter was like a silver bell, clear and melodious. Zhou Hao was not far away, silently trimming the flowers and plants. His movements were slow and mechanical. The sunlight shone on his sparse, graying hair. He looked so old, so pitiful. Sun Yen ran until he was tired and threw himself into my arms. "Mommy, hold me." I picked him up and kissed his rosy cheeks. "Mom, who is that person?" He pointed at Zhou Hao in the distance and asked curiously. I watched Zhou Hao's unfamiliar hunched back. I thought about it for a long time. Then, I smiled and said to my son, he is just an old man who takes care of our garden." Sun Yen nodded with a vague understanding, no longer looking at him. "The sun is just right, and the breeze is gentle. In my new world, there is no more hatred, no more gloom, only me and my son, and our eternal, peaceful happiness." After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.